message, China's blatant military provocations not only threaten peace in the Taiwan Strait, but also undermine security in the entire region. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The KMOX Business Desk headed to Busch Stadium. Latin food lovers should come hungry. Bradley Payne, co-owner of Mayo Ketchup, says they had so much success inside Energizer Park, they've opened up a stand inside Busch.
We're in section 168. We're going to be serving Cuban sandwiches, chicken and beef empanadas, sweet plantains, and Cuban sandwiches.
Mayo Ketchup has a brick-and-mortar location in Midtown on Olive near Compton. The Dow from Stifel down 204 points to 41,796. We've got a crash on 60, 440 going eastbound at 255, and that's backed up to 157. Two left lanes are blocked there. We've got some road work on 44 east at Washington. That's got the right lane closed. Stalled vehicle 70 going eastbound at Air Flight. That's on the left shoulder there.
Plenty of sunshine on our Tuesday afternoon, but it will be on the windy side. 62 will do it for the high. These temperatures a good 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. We're losing the northwest flow slowly. Tonight, more and more clouds take over, but let's keep it windy. 55. Wednesday, an unsettled day with a mix of clouds and sunshine. It stays windy on Wednesday with scattered showers and thunderstorms, and still thinking we have a real solid shot of strong to severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon. 75 for the high. Any storms end Wednesday evening. Thursday, rain developing. Not much in the way of storms. It's just a rain setup. 62, and let's keep it wet in the form of rain, not storms, Friday and Saturday. The heaviest rain in this Thursday, Friday, Saturday timeframe will be southeast Missouri and southern Illinois. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
We've got a cloudy sky, currently 55. The feels like is 44 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. My dad always said, no one gets out of this world alive. Hi, it's Margaret at Eamon Gantner and Capriano. Do you have a will? Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Good afternoon, St. Louis. DGS on 104.1 FM KMOX. When did this come out? Early 70s?
Yeah, I want to say maybe late
60s. Isn't it crazy?
No, it might be 70s.
It came out when the Archies were still doing like Sugar and things like that. People must have freaked the hell out.
I mean, it was a different sound. I mean, it's a lot of the same sounds, but played slower and heavier with a little bit of distortion. Let's see here.
I really bought into when I was young. My brother kind of
1970, by the way. So
that's right.
Yep.
My brother kind of ruined being a musician for me because he was 11 years older and just clashed with my mom and dad, and they hated it. And so when I got there and started, playing drums and stuff, they were just so against it. And I remember just accepting that any sort of hard rock was Satan.
Oh.
I just accepted it. Like they said it, and I'm like, no, I didn't know that. Okay. I'll look out for that.
I don't want to mess with Satan.
Yeah, and it feels like in the 70s and 80s, anytime people didn't like something, it was like, yeah, that's the devil.
And I remember being in Mike Howland's bedroom, and he was a bass player, and he played Judas Priest.
Oh.
And I was like, excuse me, but that's devil music. But then like I listened to the whole album and I was just like, this is the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Crazy good.
Yeah. They weren't singing about the devil. That's not what they were doing.
They seem to be.
I know it sounds like it. It's scary. It's scary, but it's always amazing to me that, what is at one time scary is eventually mainstream. And you look back on it and like, how are people scared by that? Like, remember how big a deal? Like, Elvis was scary.
Mm-hmm.
And the Beatles had long hair and they were scary. And then the Rolling Stones were the bad boys. Now they look like school kids.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, it's just of the time. And it's always because, look, this is the normal thing we talk about all the time. Anything new to an older generation is scary because it's not your thing and you don't understand it.
Yeah.
So that's all that is.
It makes you wonder, like, how far things are going to go, though. Like, for instance, Paris Hilton is in all these television commercials lately. I don't remember what it's from, but I was like, man, that's Paris Hilton at this point is almost quaint.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I know. Right.
It's
but
like
at the time it was
nostalgic
like,
cute.
oh, this is so scandalous, and now it's like, oh, Paris.
So true.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you wonder
And
where that's going to
what
take us.
what I always think when I see, however, whether it's typically TikTok, but anytime I consume something from Gen Z or Gen Alpha where they're being such bad boys, and I'm like, you're gonna be me one day. Just wait.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna be my mom.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna be in the grave.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the way it goes. No one. And here's the thing. One of the gifts, the true gifts of life, is you have about 20 years in there, from about 15 to maybe 35. At least I did, where you really feel like I'm just always going to be cool.
Yeah.
I'm never
Yeah.
not going to be cool. I just, my kids are going to think I'm cool. My grandkids are going to think I'm cool. And then one day you're not cool and you're like, hey, what the hell? How'd that happen?
But it's nothing that changed with you.
No.
It's that everybody else changes because that's what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Rach and I took our little walk today and we were noting the dandelions, and it brought back a memory for me. Remember, like when I was a kid, at least in South Roxana, we had all sorts of ways to trick you into violence. You know, like, hey, you know, if your hand's bigger than your face, it means you're going to be a millionaire. You're like, really? And you're like, bam, you hit them. And I remember one time a kid did something like that to me. He picked a yellow dandelion and he goes, put it under your chin. And if it reflects yellow on your chin, it means whatever, you're special or you're going to marry a model or something. And so I put it up like that and he just punched me in the nose. And I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. You could have just punched me in the nose. It doesn't even relate. But I remember like my nose bleeding and thinking, but all I was obsessed with was like, it was just a bad bit. I was offended by the bad joke.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't even make sense, dude.
No, it's just an excuse.
I have heard of the dandelion thing, though. I thought it was, if it reflected, it meant you like butter.
That's what we said. That's what we said in our neighborhood.
That would have been a weird one.
Which
Then what
again,
do you
who
do?
doesn't like butter?
How
First
do you
of all,
hit the person?
You don't hit the
in
person.
that scenario, there's no hitting of the person.
It was just like a nice wholesome little
just whether
activity.
you like butter.
Yeah,
Yes.
the trick that we used to do was like,
What sort of Six Flags neighborhood did you people grow
I'm
up in?
telling you, man, that's the way it was. But the trick we used to do with the
Like
dandelions
butter.
would be like you kind of hold them up to make them look at it. They say something like, if you look at it through the sun, you can see something. And they look up and usually their mouth's open, so you shove the thing in their mouth.
When it's fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of remember that one too.
Yeah. Because that's gross.
I don't need to test to know if I like butter.
Right.
I would have just told you.
You,
Well-
you don't need a weed test.
Yeah, I'd have just been like, oh, I'm aware.
You hold this weed under your chin to see
Yeah.
if you like one of the most delicious things on earth.
Yeah, if you like, if this happens, it means you like butter, and I'm like, oh, test already passed. Like, I don't need to.
Save your dandelion, sir.
Yeah, I don't need to take a driving test. I know how to drive. Like,
Yeah.
I was thinking today, you all know about the Morgan Wallen thing, right? He played SNL and he walked off, and oh my God, what was it? People are breaking their silence. And it's like between Morgan Wallen walking off SNL and torpedo bats, like we are just, I don't know. I mean, I make my living providing content and some of it's goofy and so I get it, but we just seem so desperate. We seem so
That's a
desperate
great word
for
for it.
something interesting. And we're like addicts, you know, like if you've ever been around someone who's really tweaking, that's how we seem all the time about something new. Like Morgan Wallen could throw himself off a building. It's like, I don't care. And the torpedo bats were interesting for 5 minutes and now we're moving on, but it just seems so crazy. But here's the interesting thing to me. And this is a calling myself out. It's one thing to roll your eyes. I get mad. I get physically angry when, like, for example, the Morgan Wallen thing. It couldn't be less impactful to my life that people like him, that people listen to him, that people go to his concerts. It doesn't affect me in the least, but something about him bothers me. Probably the fact that he keeps getting out of stuff. And it just makes me physically angry. What sort of disease is that I have? Am I just a bad person? Just a small person? Like, do you ever get like that?
I don't think you're a bad or a small person for feeling that way, because these types of stories are designed to get you to feel that way. So maybe if you're doing anything quote unquote wrong, maybe it's just you're falling for the clickbait of like, look at this guy.
Or maybe it's my way of just like when someone grabs you and you wriggle around and try to get away from them. Maybe mentally, emotionally, that's just my way of wriggling around and going like, I don't want to know this stuff. I don't care about this stuff.
Yeah. I think the bigger issue that I have with the dynamic that you're talking about is the people pushing these things know that they're not that big a deal. But if you make it seem like a big deal, then everybody bites, because we're told this is a big deal. It's a big deal. And then you dive in, you're like, this isn't a big deal. Why did you tell me this is a big deal? I think that's the reaction of 99% of people that see some of these stories. And, you know, the baseball version with the stupid torpedo bats, like everybody's losing their minds over it. They don't even understand it. They don't know how it works. If it works, we have like 3 games of evidence of, you know, one team beating the crap out of another team and a few select guys here and there in other places using it. And people are being told, though, by people who are just seeking engagement.
Yeah.
And that's why they do it. They know that it doesn't matter. Or they know that they don't know it, but you got to make it seem sexy, because that's when we're going to click.
There should be a word for the emotion I have when seeing things that I think are stupid. Besides a-hole. Like, for example, I was TikToking today and I saw one of the classic wedding dances. We've all seen them. And it made me mad. I was mad at them because it's so douche. It's so cringy. And again, I wasn't invited to the wedding. I don't know anyone, but it affected me. And then Cory Booker, who's doing a Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and he's been speaking for 18 hours now, and he's trying to make a difference. And I couldn't have rolled my eyes harder. And there's a problem with me. There's a problem, because I just get mad at all this kind of stuff, and I shouldn't let it affect me.
With the wedding thing, don't you think if you were at a wedding and they started doing a coordinated dance, you would think it was kind of cute?
0%
0% chance.
What if it was Phoebe's wedding and it was her dance?
I would do anything for Phoebe, but I would think it was so stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a huge fan of the choreographed stuff either, but
yeah.
But I feel like if I'm not either, Wheels, but I feel like if I were in that situation, if I were actually there, I'd be like, this is kind of nice.
Sometimes I just wish I were normal and could just go like douchebags and go like, did you see the wedding dance? Oh my God, they killed it. It was so great. And Morgan Wallen, I just wish I could be that person who could just enjoy life instead of just be like, you're so stupid. You're so stupid too. Oh my God, look at you. You're so stupid.
I kind of had
something
work
on myself.
I had something like this on the sheet too. I said this type of reporting or media is kind of worthless, and I'm not saying all of the Independent is worthless at all, but this particular article was about the speculation that Canada could possibly like stop letting us access Pornhub in the United States as retaliation for the terrorists.
Pornhub?
Well, I guess they're based out of Canada. And here's what happened was some Canadian comedian made a joke saying like, we should just stop giving them access to Pornhub. And now it's become like an actual conversation of like, well, what if they did?
Yeah.
What if they did? It's like, well, they're not going to do that. And even if they did, it's like, let's cross that bridge when we come to it. But it's so weird to write like a preemptive article about like, here's what would happen
because
if
this
this comedian's joke
Yeah.
was real. It's like, dude,
that's like finding out your Aunt Gladys is a swinger, that all porn comes from Canada.
Well, I don't think it's all made in Canada. I think that's just where
still
the domain.
I wouldn't have thought that they would have done that kind of thing. Do you guys find yourself rooting for Canada? I do.
I always have, though.
I mean, I like Canada.
I mean, against us.
Oh,
like just all the stupid stuff and all the tariffs and all the back and forth. It's like, I hate to admit it, but like whenever their prime minister or the Ford guy lands a couple of punches on us, I'm like, good for you.
I just want it all to stop.
Yeah, I do too.
Let's just
I
be
don't like
normal.
fighting with them. I think it's very, very silly.
Let's
and
fight with the
stupid.
people that hate us and not fight with the people that we're allies with.
Okay, let's take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back, I'm going to be different.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code RADIO. Swishradio.com, code RADIO.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Charlie Brennan alongside once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. What do people look for in a hearing aid?
People want a hearing aid that will help them to hear their family at dinner, their grandchildren, or help them hear their friends at their weekly breakfast get-togethers. Expectations have always been high with hearing aids, and the hearing aids are always improving. The latest technology has great ease of use, Bluetooth capabilities, and better understanding in the speech and noisy places. We're hosting our spring sale event April 21st and 22nd this year. It's an event where you can listen to the hearing aids for yourself. For 2 days only, we're offering $700 off a set of the latest hearing aid technology, free earwax removal, free hearing screenings, and free hearing aid cleanings. We're so confident that you're going to love this new hearing aid that we're giving away free trial periods.
Thanks, Dr. Bosler. Again, the spring sales event, April 21st and 22nd. To learn more, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
Tell you guys about Michael's Flooring Outlet. Mike has been with me since my second month on the air. He is a very good guy. He's a very straightforward guy. He's an interesting guy in his personal life. He's huge into rock and roll and a big Kiss fan and just a really fun guy to talk to. But when it comes to his work life, he keeps things as simple as possible. He said, look, Dave, and this is 24 years ago, he said this to me. So I didn't go into the flooring business because I wanted to be complicated. I didn't go into the flooring business because I wanted a complex life. I did it because I wanted a simple life. And why go into a simple business where you have all the major brands and you have an entry level, you have a mid-level, you have a luxury level? That's really simple. That's like 3 things to remember from maybe 5 different brands of carpeting and hardwood and so forth. So I'm not going to complicate my life by lying to people. I'm not going to complicate my life by fudging and being fraudulent about something just to make an extra $100 per project. So he'll tell you the truth. He'll try to save you money if he can. He's probably had 10,000 people from the DGS now over the 24 years, 3 locations around town, Weston, St. Charles, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The Biz Dash returns for its 10th year as St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. All levels of runners and walkers welcome. Thursday, May 22nd at Energizer Park in downtown St. Louis. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
KMOX is everywhere. 11:20 a.m. Streaming live on the Odyssey app and now at 104.1 FM.
Welcome back. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. Okay, I figured it out on the break. I got it.
Okay.
It's when you're young, you're stupid and fun and life is not threatening. And then you mature and you get some sense about you. And then you get old. And one of the signs of getting old doesn't mean you have to stay old. But I think one of the diagnosable signs is when you do start getting emotionally affected by stuff that younger people do. Because I'm 60 now, which I've said is like the kindergarten of old age, right? I've graduated from adulthood and I'm in kindergarten of old age. And it's good that we talk about these things because maybe other people will be like, yeah, maybe they'll just throw that out, whole cloth. But maybe someone will be like, that kind of makes sense. Here's an example. When I was young and stupid, my freshman year in college, I had a speech class. And it was one of those like cool, hip professors, with the beard. And we were all in a big circle, about 30 of us. He goes, okay, let's go around the room. And I want you to say your name and then something you're into that has the same first letter as your name. So I'm Kevin and I'm into karate. I'm Rachel and I'm into the Rugrats. So I was desperate to be known and to be funny and to be weird. And I said, my name is Dave and I'm into doorknobs because it's such a non sequitur. And I thought everyone would be like, oh, he's cool. And what happened, because then we had to go around and memorize everybody. Rachel, Rugrats, that's Kevin, he's into karate. And every single person, when they came to me, goes, that's Dave. I guess he's into doorknobs. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It totally fell flat. Yeah. And for the rest of that class, I was just persona non grata. But I was young and stupid and brave and thought things were funny. And then other people who were more mature were like, that's dumb. And I'm sure the professor was like, you're making me angry. Make sense?
Yeah. But I mean, you got to give yourself credit for trying. It could have worked.
Oh, yeah.
If people were in
I
like
was
a better
18.
mood or something,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I
also,
still kind of do that to
it's a
this day.
stupid random assignment.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, what if you're not interested in anything that starts with the letter of your first name?
I just think
I would have made something up too.
I don't want to be the 60-year-old who's going to hip hop shows. I don't want to be the guy who's clinging to my 20s and going to clubs. Like when we go to see Phoebe, we'll take her to dinner. We've been to a couple of the bars that she goes to, but there are some dads who like go out and get wasted and have to be Ubered home and babysit them while they're throwing up. I'm not that guy, but somewhere there's a happy medium. Make sense?
Yeah.
I just think that as you age, if you sense yourself getting kind of crappy, you just got to kind of check yourself and remember how stupid you were.
Good point.
When you're young, right? It's not like I'm not even like I'm doing a show now. One more thing about aging. I was calling someone, it was for a prescription, and they ask your date of birth. And it's just a young girl. And I said, 9664. And she goes, 1964? And I was like, well, it's not 2064.
Mm-hmm.
It sure ain't 1864.
It's not 1864.
That would be a good story, though. What if you were 160 years old?
But she couldn't admit it more. 1964?
I have
Sure.
a good one. I had a humbling experience at Target last night.
Oh, nice. Let's hear it.
I was going through the self-checkout and I was buying lighters. And I guess they have to check your ID when you're buying a lighter.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the thing comes up. It's like, wait for the associate to come over and get out your ID. And I'm like fumbling around for my ID. And this, I say he's a kid. He's probably in his 20s, but he's definitely younger than me. He comes up to me as I'm fumbling around with my wallet. He goes, oh, don't bother.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
You're
And I
plenty
was
old to
like-
light something.
Yeah, exactly. He's
That's
like,
tough.
just tell me your birthday. I'm like,
When I buy like beer or wine or whatever at Schnucks, and they have to come over and check your ID at the self checkout, and so it rings up and it's like, someone will come check your ID in a minute, and I look over and the lady just without even looking up like
Just
hits
push
the
the
button.
button.
Hits the
Yeah.
button. That always like stings a little bit. I'm just like, oof.
I've told this before.
At least ask.
I've told this before, but Wheels, I was at Walgreens a couple of years ago buying a bottle of wine because that's how great my life's going. And I guess there they have to card everybody.
Yeah.
But she asked for my ID, and I literally like physically sunk a little bit, and I'm like, dude, if I'm under 21, I have a terrible, debilitating disease.
And you should give it to me anyway.
You should just let me drink this.
I actually
wine.
think
you should open it and let me drink it now.
I do think a lot of places have to scan the ID.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it won't allow the transaction to go through.
Right.
Yeah, liquor stores do.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, specifically. But
Oh,
Schnucks,
they just thought you looked young, Dave.
Schnucks can just see the grays from here and hit the button.
Here you
They
go.
say if you look under 30, we card you. So
Speaking of aging, this is perfect. Dr. Kathy Maupin, biobalancehealth.com. If I look at all younger than 60, you can give the credit to my mom and dad and to Dr. Kathy Maupin because she is great at fixing your face. Whether you elect to have Botox or chemical peels or the M-Sculpt, that's pretty cool. Like Trish and I did that to our stomachs where these little paddles, and it's like you're doing 30,000 crunches in 30 minutes. Now they have these miniature ones that go on your face. So it tightens up your jawline and your jowl line and your turkey neck and all these different things. So that's pretty cool. Right next door is BioBalance Health proper, where they do the pellets. Just had mine about a month ago. I won't get them again until June or July. And they've kicked in already. You know, it takes about 2 weeks to kick in, but once they do, you just feel good. I would say I probably feel as good as I did 10, 15 years ago. And I see pictures of myself from 10 years ago, and my face looks better. So again, all the credit in the world to Dr. Kathy Maupin. You can find everything about her at biobalancehealth.com.
Start your day with an edge.
Total Information AM.
It's like breakfast for your brain.
I wake up, I turn on the news.
I gotta listen 3 or 4 times every day.
Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman.
I like to wake up with the news.
Total Information AM.
It's where I get my news. Traffic conditions and potential weather that's coming.
If it's gonna rain, I want to know.
Total Information AM. Weekdays 5 to 9.
I like to turn it on and just get caught up.
Where I get my news. The news, weather, and traffic.
On the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Warmer spring weather is right around the corner, and now is the time to plan your home's exterior renovation project. Banner Construction is booking now for homeowners to be first in line for beautiful James Hardy siding and Pella replacement windows. Beat the price increases and plan your project now. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050 to get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
We take you now to Dave Murray's weather, sponsored by Interpark Holdings.
Wind will be picking up as we go through our afternoon. Let's just call it windy. Plenty of sunshine, though, and warmer than yesterday, 62. Tonight, more and more clouds take over, but the winds stay with us not only this evening, but all night long, 55. Unsettled on Wednesday with scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's a windy day. Some storms could become strong to severe as we go through Wednesday afternoon. We need to stay alert Wednesday afternoon, 75. Any storms end Wednesday evening. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
The easiest way to park on game day is to park with iParkit. iParkit has the best game day parking garages in St. Louis. 2 iParkit garages are on Clark Avenue, right next door to the ballpark. Download the iParkit app and drive in and out using only your license plate. Use iParkit for convenience and peace of mind.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Big news. In 2025, Social Security will increase by 2.5%. Is that really big news? What does that mean for your retirement wallet? But now for the really tough questions. When and how should you claim your Social Security benefit? How does it fit into your financial future? There are several claiming options, and you don't want to leave money on the table. That's why it's important to work with a professional like Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group.
Join Steve for an exclusive Social Security presentation at the All Financial Group office Wednesday, April 16th. This event is complimentary, but you do need to reserve your spot today. Call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824, or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
Today, the Cards, the Angels.
Ameren Total Access 550.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back, guys. DGS on KMOX. We have our buddy Dan Abel Jr. in from Bissinger's. He was so cool and allowed us to go make chocolate one day a few months ago, and just one of the coolest things we've ever done. Good to see you, colleague. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Doing great. We have to talk about this thing first. So I'm going to show this to the camera, and you explain what this is.
So that is a handmade German paper mache egg imported from Germany, and then
just gorgeous.
Each one's packed with different Bissinger's confections.
Just gorgeous. That is so cool.
Yeah, thing's over 9 inches tall. I mean,
so these predate you by
decades.
Yeah.
Wow, decades. They used to buy them when it was still Deutschmarks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've done this before, but we're on FM now, so we have a whole new audience. Introduce the business. I mean, it is so cool that you guys go back as far as you go.
Yeah. So I absolutely love telling the story because I think it's the greatest story in chocolate of all time. Bissinger started in the 1600s in Paris, France. And so we start the date at 1668 because that's when King Louis XIV appointed them as the Confesseur Impérial. I don't say it as well as you do, but
say it, Wheels.
Say what?
What do you just say?
Oh, the Confesseur.
The Confesseur, yes.
Impérial.
Much better.
Yeah, that was.
I just got mad again.
That was an A- though. B+ maybe.
Well, mine was a C then because that was so much better. So 350-ish years later, they moved to the United States in 1845, and we think in 1845 was the first time a consumer could actually buy Bissinger's because it was really just served at the Palace of Versailles for the first century and a half.
Yeah,
and then they made the smartest decision ever in 1927. They came to St. Louis. Moved the company to St. Louis. So was
it because of the French connection of St. Louis, or just sort of happenstance?
I think so. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's
put that in the story.
Yeah, absolutely. They see this French town called St. Louis. They started in Cincinnati first, and so it's a quick drive over, and they were just like, let's do it. Yeah.
Yep. And then bring us up to date, like with your family.
Yeah. So in 2019, we had the opportunity to buy Bissinger's, and one of the things I loved it as a consumer before. I love it as an owner. And so we really wanted to keep Bissinger's true to its authenticity. And so, I mean, I can't tell you how often I'm going back in archives from, newspaper clippings of the 1800s and the old recipes and trying to make sure that what we do in 2025 and 2026 touches the entire 3.5 centuries of Bissinger's legacy, but also stays relevant because, the worst thing that you can have is a box of walnut creams that no one likes anymore, which who knows, that could be the next hot thing right now. But I guarantee if I did that today, it wouldn't, so some things cycle, but we do know that. But we, so we're working on, making sure packaging stays current and but really tells the story. I mean, this bag, for example, it has the inception of 1600s. It has the French crest on the side. And so everything to bring the brand together is important to us on every single asset that Bissinger's has.
You know what I loved when we came to the shop? You guys were working.
Always.
There was some guy schlepping chocolate. You're like, that's my brother. And I'm like, no, it's not. He's in an office somewhere counting money. You guys were making chocolate.
All the time. This is the cleanest I've ever been. This is why we have the full hairnet and lab coats. Look at this. I got my hairnet right here in my pocket. Always with me. Yep. I left the production floor for sure. Always.
So Easter's a big deal.
Easter's huge. Yeah. I say it's the last hurrah. You go Thanksgiving and then Christmas and then Valentine's Day and then Easter and then that's it. Like, so we need Easter, always need
Yeah.
Easter to be big to
Yeah.
carry us through the slow season.
And people may not think of Bissingers for Easter because they may think you guys are too nice. You know, they're thinking like, oh, we're going to go get some little chocolate eggs at Walgreens. But, you know, I mean, live
and
your
I
life.
I think there's, you know, and like we always say, like, we'll never be a brand that can be in 10,000 or 20,000
Yeah.
retail stores. It's, you know, it's truly everything is handcrafted. And so, you know, we make in every box is bowed and ribboned and decorated. I mean, you saw the salted caramel truffles. I remember those, you know,
Bet you
and
do.
so that's just one component that goes into it. So we know that we're not going to serve a million chocolate eggs, but we're completely fine with that.
Yeah. What do you guys do for Easter? What are your kind of your specialties?
You know, it's the bunnies and the eggs. So everything we can think of to put the shape of an egg and then everything. So we have a couple different size bunnies, and then we have it's a paint your own bunny kit, which is kind of cool. It's a cute little bunny. It comes with we got to be careful with the word paint though, because it is chocolate.
Yes.
So we naturally color chocolate and call that our paint.
Okay.
So you get 4 different colors of chocolate. It's a little bit softer. So as you put it in the microwave on defrost and melt, it becomes like water, very liquidy.
Yeah.
And then paintbrushes. And so we have that kit plus your traditional chocolate bunnies, and then marshmallow eggs, peanut butter eggs. We have gourmet cream eggs. And so literally anything I can think of to put in the shape of an egg or in the shape of a bunny, and then like the paper mache egg. So every kind of like, and that product, for example, goes back at least to the 60s or 70s,
Mhm.
but the paint your own bunny kit, something we started in 2020.
Yeah.
So we have, there are certain, and Easter is great with Bissingers because we have like a 70-year spread of tradition in the product line.
So who makes these?
Those are handmade in Germany.
Oh,
And
wow.
literally every single one's handmade. The cool thing this year is we've actually started to be able to take over the design because we buy so many of them now.
Mhm.
So in some of the smaller ones, it actually says Bissingers or it has the Bissingers B on it.
Yeah.
But all of the illustrations now we own, and so they're truly authentic. Because
Yeah.
there's some other players that have started to copy it and go to that same
Yeah.
supplier. So we wanted to make sure that the Bissingers ones are truly
Yeah.
unique.
We're talking to our good friend Dan Abel Jr. here from Bissingers. So the chocolate, does it ever change? Do you ever play with it, or you're pretty happy with it? This is what it is.
The chocolate itself never changes. The recipes of the new creations all the time. So like the Bissingers caramel, the Versailles vanilla caramel goes back before I was alive. No one's changed it. No one's touched it. It's the same cane sugar. It's the same whipping cream. It's the same vanilla supplier for decades, which is locally made in St. Louis as well. But the chocolate itself is the same. And that cocoa bean sourcing recipe goes back to when a Bissingers owned the company. So we're going back generations here. What we do all the time is create new truffles or new centers. Like we're about to launch a couple new confections right now. And a lot of times they're still based on a Bissingers core recipe. Like, for example, we take that base Bissingers caramel and then maybe make a blackberry version, or maybe make a raspberry version, or we just made one called the King Louis XIV in honor of King Louis, because he was the king that made the Confesseur Imperial to Bissingers. But there's a cocktail called the King Louis, which is Chambord and gin, which is going to be a cocktail that we launch at our bar. So we made it into a confection. So we're taking something that exists, the Bissingers caramel recipe and the Bissingers chocolate, but then bringing in those spirits and cooking it together to create something that's brand new.
Man, I can feel you getting hungry from over here.
I am.
When he said cream egg, I'm like, oh, that's my girl.
The funniest thing, you mentioned the cream eggs. Like a couple years ago, we only sold a couple hundred boxes. I'm at we're remaking them tomorrow, and Easter's in a couple weeks. Like that is the hottest thing this year, and I don't know why. It's nothing new. It's so that's something. Things cycle, and the traditional items are really coming back strong.
Very cool.
Dan, I'm wondering because David said, maybe some people think Bissingers is too nice for Easter. You really do taste the difference in quality when you're having Bissingers chocolate. It's just above most other chocolates. I'm wondering for you, if you do pick up a piece of cheapo chocolate candy and happen to eat it, what's that like? Are you like, whoa, that's not what that's supposed to taste like?
I have such a sweet tooth, and there are certain things like I think peanut M&Ms are a gift from heaven. Right.
I love that.
I just love them. I can't not love them. There's everything about it is so great. So there are some things that yeah, if I'm at a Walgreens and I have a sweet tooth craving, for me to spend $1 or $2 on that, it's no guilt for me. But when it comes to like a caramel or toffee or a marshmallow or something that's core in a classic confection that we make, I am a big chocolate snob, and I'll try things all the time because I always like to see what's on the market. I always like to, I think it's everywhere with like chefs. They like to go to other restaurants, and winemakers like to try other wines. And so for me, I love trying other things, but like 99% of the time, I'm dissatisfied, except for like peanut M&Ms.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us about the new stuff, the bar and everything.
Yeah, so construction is going very well. I start my day there every few hours. I poke over. I've got my hard hat, so I get to check up on it. And the walls are almost up. They've got to get basically the roof and the concrete floor in the next few weeks. And then once we're under roof, it just goes. So very excited. So the coffee shop is going to be the new tourism welcome center with this full coffee shop and bistro cafe, and then on the property, hidden speakeasy. So we've talked about this before, but it's going to be called. I'm just kidding. I can't tell you that yet. I almost did it.
He got
you
me.
see, I almost did
He
it.
got me.
Yeah. So we're very excited. We haven't revealed the location, but it's inside. It's going to be inside that new building. It's going to be inside that new space. And the funny thing is, like, we designed about 50% of it. We've already built the bar. We've already built the fixtures. And then we brought in kind of like a design team to help finish it. And then after like a week of looking at samples, I was like, no, I'm just going to finish it myself with my team. So like, I still can't let anyone see what this thing even looks like. So it's still like the most closely guarded secret, but you did get one big clue today. One of the signature cocktails is going to be the King Louis.
Yeah, I love it.
It's good. We've done a lot of R&D on that one.
I bet you have. I bet you have. We're not rolling our thing out yet, right? We're keeping that under wraps.
Keep it under wraps.
Okay, good.
So I'm excited. I'm really excited.
But just know that we're doing something together.
Yep.
Dan and I, DGS and Bissingers, we're doing something for the fall that you're going to love, and it's going to help charity. So, yeah.
No, I'm pumped about it. We were just talking about it.
Yeah. What else we need to get out there for the people for Easter or anything else?
Easter's one of those things where it's every year. It's like, it's 20 days later this year than it was last year. We would have been past Easter already. Last year was March 31st. So it's April 20th. It's coming up in 3 weeks. And I think that, especially for Catholics and Christians, it's usually like that Palm Sunday match. You're like, oh my gosh, Easter's next week. But if you're ordering online, that, the week before is about it. So we always encourage, we're making it around the clock. So it's from here on out, everything has beyond a 3-week shelf life. So
yeah,
I recommend always going into the stores and kind of getting ahead of it, because the last week is always crazy. And like, I'm one that I don't like lines. So I would just like to get, except for Christmas. I like on the 24th of December, I'm like going through the mall.
My man.
Which is,
so did I.
Since we have mall stores, I can kind of like, tell my wife, oh, I got to go up to Plaza Frontenac, or I have to go to Galleria to go check on the stores. But no, I'm doing her Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
So, but the other holidays, I'm ahead of it. So this is one I always like to stay ahead.
Yeah. Any other questions before we let him go? Mr. Frenchman? Nothing?
No.
Ask him a question in French.
I don't have any questions in French.
Oh, did you get another shingles vaccine?
No, I have allergies and they're kicking my ass.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got the shingles 2 years ago.
Oh, you got the real thing?
The real thing. It was terrible.
Yeah, I got the vaccine and that kicked my butt for 2 days, but I'd rather have that than the real deal.
I was like, what is this rat? And then I called my doctor and he's like, oh my God, you have shingles. And I was like, I'm in my 30s. And I'm telling you, every time I like sneezed, it was like 75 knives just hitting me. I couldn't believe how much pain it, and then like, just like your sleeves. So I took like gauze and just wrapped my whole arm just because of the friction of my shirt.
How long did it last?
It was like 2 weeks. I probably, because I probably waited a week too long. I should have called my doctor right away.
Yeah.
But then the neuropathy was like that sensitive. So someone told me after the fact, they're like, it's the extreme temperature. So like jump into a cold swimming pool or take a cold shower. That will really help. So that was good therapy, because the neuropathy probably lasted a month.
That's why I suffered for 2 days with that. Because the
I'm
vaccine might kick my butt for 2 days, like fever, the whole deal.
Yeah.
But I'd rather do that than a month of all that.
It was probably a strong month. And it was just not like, I was just unhappy person because I was in so much.
Yeah. It just
like,
sounds miserable.
I would drive home, you turn the steering wheel, like, oh my God, like everything about it.
That's awful.
Yep.
One more time, Dan, everywhere that you can buy, that you can find Bissingers.
So Plaza Frontenac, St. Louis Galleria, the shop on the hill where you can actually go on a tour and see the whole experience as
Which
well.
I highly recommend.
And then Bissingers.com. And we pretty much own every website of every spelling. So
There you
if
go.
you come close, I've been buying up any, like, because a lot of people spell it with an E.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bissingers.com is
Great
for
to see you,
everyone
my
else.
friend.
Thank
See
you
you
so
soon.
much for having me.
All right, quick break, right back.
Get ready for a country music extravaganza. It's Clint Black coming to Family Arena this April 12th. KMOX has your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Clint Black. Register now at KMOX.com/contest for your time to win.
Community America Credit Union is opening a new branch in Hazelwood. Join me, Amy Markscores, special Cardinals alumni, and Fred Bird on April 10th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the grand opening. We'll have food trucks and a chance to win prizes. See you there.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Okay, still new to the world of Underdog Fantasy, only my second live endorsement for them, but I think, you guys know me. You can tell when I'm impressed by something, when I'm passionate about something. And I just did a whole thing yesterday on the show, in the body of the show, about how I don't like doing mechanical things that I don't understand because I feel stupid. And apps are like that. I'm 60. Apps are weird to me. And the Underdog app is so intuitive. For me, it has been so easy. I started playing last week. I play every day. Now the Cardinals are playing. I always pick my Cardinals so I can root for them. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I'm up. Like I'm doing really well. Now, if you're more of an NBA guy or NHL or soccer, or pretty much anything, you can engage in Underdog Fantasy. And here's all you got to do. They're going to say, like for baseball, Nolan Arenado is going to get 1.5 bases. And you say, no, he's going to get at least 2, maybe 3. So I'm going to go higher. Or, you know what? He's been hurt, dinged up a little bit lately. I think he's not going to do that well. I'm going to go lower. And then you get the money based on that. So it's really fun. It's really easy. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code Glover. Make sure you do that because you're going to unlock a special offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits when you make your first deposit. So join in on the fun. I've been having a great time. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus credits instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18, must be in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates, which if you're listening in Missouri, you are. If you're concerned about your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
You never got a sense of how big the community was until we all pour into this auditorium. 4,000 or 5,000 people, and we're all here for the same reason. Real estate investing, living the lifestyle.
That's April on her Expo Experience. It's coming again. Join Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited for Expo 2025, May 7th through the 10th in Irving, Texas. Get hands-on training from successful real estate investors and learn proven strategies that work. Find out more and save $100 when you text EXPO to 88007, EXPO to 88007.
152 DGS on KMOX. I saw a thing today, and I'm aware of this, but I've never really listened to someone who has no concept, not a dumb person, has no concept of east, west, north, and south.
Really?
So that if I said, for example, oh yeah, you're close to us, just come about 3 blocks due west and you're going to hit us, they would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. You like that, Rach?
If I'm outside and I know where the arch is, it's easier. But like sitting in this room right now, I don't. Yeah.
Oh, really? Like you don't know which way is west right now?
No, and that's embarrassing, but
it's okay.
True.
I would have to trek the path of the sun.
Sure.
Like I would look up and I'd be like, all right,
like
sun's going down over there, so that's west.
If you were in a
so
city
that's
that you didn't know and you knew no landmarks, and someone said which way is north, east, southwest. I mean, if it's noon, you're kind of screwed. But yeah, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
So how do you know standing in this room?
Because I know St. Louis, and I know that that's west.
Yeah.
And that's east, and that's north, and that's south.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but
good
just
for you.
But just because I know St. Louis.
Wait. Yeah, that is north. Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
I was like, I got him. It's like, oh,
like, no, it's not. Like, yes, it is.
It's not.
Yeah.
Isn't it fascinating how all of our brains just work so differently?
Mine don't.
Such a different level.
He's like, mine doesn't work.
Mine don't work at all.
What is your, you feel like you're losing your touch in Magic the Gathering?
Not so much that I'm losing my touch, just that I'm stagnating a bit, right? Like, you get to a point where you feel like you're not improving anymore in the way that you would like to be when it comes to like anything competitive. I just didn't know if you guys had ever felt that way in your various. I mean, I think about it. I don't really like. It's something that you'd need like another person to really like effectively practice, and you'd have to, the practice is sort of what I do, when I go like on Thursdays and play and stuff. And I just feel like I'm not improving in the way that I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if you guys had any like tips for in general, competing. Like what's the move to like push through?
You are talking to the king of good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is going to sound braggy. I have been pretty good at a number of things throughout my life. I've never had the passion, discipline, character to push into greatness. I never have. I've always been like soccer, baseball, playing drums, playing guitar, singing, whatever. I've always been like, hey, good enough. This is fun. I'm having a good time. Like I would never, if you gave me 1,000 years, become Jimmy Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jimmy had to woodshed to do that.
Sure.
You're not just born doing that. So you're talking to the king of good enough. How about you?
Well, I mean, it depends on the activity. So sometimes it's going to be how much money are you willing to spend on gear, or in this case, cards, decks to get things right.
Mm-hmm.
And then other than that, the only investment you can really make is time. That's how you get good at stuff. 10,000 hours, man.
Keep pushing.
At the Williams residence, everything looked kind of the same from the outside, but inside their lives just got way happier. 3 years of inflation and debt had crushed them, but for the first time, they had the cash to secure their retirement, pay off bills, and plan their future. They didn't win the lottery exactly. They did a genius financial strategy called the Sell and Stay program from Truehold. It's easy. Their home's value had rebounded greatly, so they quickly sold it to Truehold and banked all that equity in cash. But since they weren't ready to move, they could stay put with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold even paid their property taxes, home insurance, and essential home repairs. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a Truehold offer now while your home's value is high. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out after your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
The biggest piano sale of the year is being held at the Muni starting Thursday, April 3rd through Sunday, April 6th. Hi, this is Kathy from Lacefield Music, and every year Lacefield Music supports the Muni by loaning the Yamaha pianos needed for all their coaching, rehearsal, and performance needs. In appreciation, the Muni hosts an annual sale of all the pianos used during the season. In addition to the loan pianos, a huge selection of new and used used pianos will be brought to the Muni for you to shop. New Yamaha Grands, Uprights, Clavinovas, and Disclavier player pianos, plus new and used Zyler, Kawai, Baldwin, Roland, and vintage Steinways. All will be offered at rock bottom prices. The event is at the Muni starting April 3rd. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are by appointment only. Sunday is open to the public. Call 314-860-2712 to make an appointment. That's 314-860-2712.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Or the joy of early bedtimes? And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Looking to give your bathroom an affordable facelift? Maybe you need your shower area to become a safer space for your family's needs. Hey, it's Trish with a recommendation. Michaels can come in and give you a free quote. We'll discuss your needs and help figure out what would work best for your space and budget. Michaels Baths remodeled bathrooms all over the St. Louis region. 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the BBB. You'll love these guys. Michaels Bass, 636-775-0800.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So, if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 2 o'clock, we've got a cloudy sky. It is 57 degrees, feels like 50 downtown at the Arch. President Trump says tomorrow will be Liberation Day, the day he rolls out new tariffs. This man in New York City worries what that means for the American car industry and car buyers.
My car is new. I have no concerns. People are going to need cars in April, May, and June, and times are tight.
This grocery shopper is worried
because it's going to make up most of what I buy more expensive. If it still remains available.
A developing story, a box truck crashed into a building in Boston's Chinatown neighborhood. 5 people were hurt, including the driver. 2 suffered critical injuries and 2 people had minor injuries, according to WBZ. Attorney General Pam Bondi says she's directed prosecutors to seek the death penalty against Luigi Mangione, the man accused of gunning down United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Firings at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services began today. Natalie Brand has the details from Washington.
These are the 10,000 layoffs that we began reporting on last week, but the reduction in force notices actually went out today, with some employees reporting, showing up at work and their badges were not working.
St. Louis Community College is cutting the ribbon on a new state-of-the-art manufacturing center.
St. Louis Community College Chancellor Dr. Jeff Pittman says the new 100,000 square foot building will consolidate all their manufacturing programs under one roof.
When they're spread out, you can't really have any kind of joint projects. They can't get the feel of what a real manufacturing environment is like.
Governor Mike Kehoe.
Being able to provide a skilled workforce is what companies are looking for. This is the physical brick and mortar experience.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Some U.S. beekeepers say they're seeing deaths of bees in big numbers over the last 8 months. We wanted to see what the situation is in the Midwest. Emily Altoff is Assistant Extension Professor and State Extension Specialist of Urban Entomology at the University of Missouri.
So we're hearing about declines from state beekeeping organizations. And then as far as hearing about the data, we're waiting to hear back from our state departments of agriculture who are conducting surveys. Those surveys are going to tell us what some of the potential drivers might be this year, whether they be potential pests to the honeybees or pathogens or viruses.
The KMOX Business Desk. How much do you need to earn a year to move into a typical home today? A lot more than you did just 5 years ago. Bankrate housing market analyst Jeff Ostrowski.
The median home price nationally is about $418,000. To qualify for a mortgage, assuming a 20% down payment, you would need to make about $117,000.
In places like California and Hawaii, you need more than $200,000. In Missouri, you need less than $75,000. The Dow from Stifel down 187 points to 41,813. We've got a crash on 5570 going east at Illinois 111. That is in the left lane right now. Also 5570 eastbound at Exchange Avenue. There's some road work in the two left lanes. We've got some more road work on 44 east at Washington. That's got the right lane closed and some debris they've just cleared out. 141 south at Manchester Road was in the right lane.
Wind will be picking up as we go through our afternoon. Let's just call it windy. Plenty of sunshine, though, and warmer than yesterday, 62. Tonight, more and more clouds take over, but the winds stay with us not only this evening, but all night long, 55. Unsettled on Wednesday with scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's a windy day. Some storms could become strong to severe as we go through Wednesday afternoon. We need to stay alert Wednesday afternoon, 75. Any storms end Wednesday evening. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And right now, taking a look across the region, we do have some clouds. It is currently 57 degrees, and the feels like downtown at the Arch is 50. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Our conversation with Ricky Horton is brought to you by Goodwill. Give hope, give local, give Goodwill.
I have a good feeling about this at bat here. Sometimes you just have a feeling. Delivery to him is hit high and deep to right field. Did he get it? Yes, he did. Big fly, Nolan Gorman. His third hit of the afternoon. What a great start to the season for Gorman, and sometimes you just have a feeling.
That is our friend Ricky Horton with one of the best calls I've heard in years. Ricky, nice job, my friend.
Dave, I think we just lost him. We're getting him back on the phone right now.
No.
Dang it. That was a great call. I texted him as soon as the crack of the bat. I texted him. I was driving home from baseball practice, and I was listening on the car, and I texted him immediately like, dude, come on, nice way to call your shot.
So, you know, it's weird about that. He texted me as soon as he made that call.
Oh, wow. He's like, Dave, did you hear that? That was great,
Dave,
man.
I took your advice. I used the I've got a feeling thing.
Yeah, it's funny because, yeah, you know, it's right because sometimes you do have a feeling, and when you get it, that feels good, doesn't it, Rick?
Oh, it sure does. And, you know, I get a feeling like once every 20 years. So, you know, I just kind of went with it. And, you know, people said that was kind of cool that happened. And I just kept sending, well, you saw it, my emoji of the horseshoe.
Yeah, that's what you said to me.
Sometimes you just got to fall into it.
That was great, man.
So, Rick, even with the loss last night, I don't mind that loss. It just makes it seem real now. Had we gone 4-0, you're like, okay, what's going on? But now, you know, we're 3-1. We're into the season, and it just feels so good. We're going to have ups and downs, but so far, so good.
So I'm with you. I think if we were 4-0, then everybody would start conspiracy theories and we'd be off on some crazy tangent about what the heck's going on here. But yeah, no, it is real. And that was a good game yesterday. You know, you're going to lose something like that. And just a couple of unfortunate turn of events. The Cardinals had the lead. They just couldn't hold it.
It's interesting because that game, Rick, was really juicy. And I don't want to weigh that game over everything else, right? I mean, it's a 3-1 start to the year. It was a sweep of a pretty good Twins team to start. But last night's kind of the thing that demonstrates what managers and coaches have said for generations. You know, a lot of times it is the little things getting done. It's the right decision on a tough play, fielding a bunt, coming through with a runner in scoring position. Like, you could think of 5 or 6 things that went into that game last night that might have changed the outcome.
So that's what makes baseball great. It's interesting. It's a saying that Randy Flores uses all the time, and I've kind of stolen it from him, but that's okay. People do that all the time. And the phrase is baseball happens. Baseball happens. I mean, and it's got a lot of layers to it. The game does, and one little thing here, one little thing there changes the outcome.
It's interesting. We had I don't know if you caught it, Ricky, but Ollie started the manager show today. So every Tuesday at noon, he's going to join the Gas House Gang guys, and that'll be Ranji, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji. I don't know why I always just go by his last name, but Chris Ranji, Tom Ackerman, and Bernie Miklas are a part of that. It was really interesting today. There's a lot of explanation. Detail for a game that yesterday that I would call juicy. There were a lot of interesting points, subbing out the catcher when they did, and what was going in on this play. And I thought Ollie had a lot of really interesting explanations, especially for the switch to Pages in the middle of the game.
Yeah, and I heard some of that post game as well. I heard him talking about that, and I'm glad that he, I think he's very transparent about that stuff, and I think it's a good education for folks to understand that it's not just a willy nilly move, and they all don't work out, but there's reasons why he put Pages in that game with a lead, and he understood when he did it that he might have an at bat, and didn't know he'd have two, but. He didn't know you have extra innings, but you weigh what matters most at this point in time, and then you live with it. And I think that's great. We get the benefit of talking to Ollie every day, and he shares that kind of stuff with us. The man knows the game. There's no question.
And I think look, I'll give an example. I think it's great hearing explanations in detail like that. Tony La Russa was the best at that. Never minded being challenged on anything, and he would just explain, this is what's going on. This guy wasn't available because he was sick, but we don't tell people that in advance of the game because we don't want the opponent to know.
Right.
Like, those explanations are great, and you can still disagree with an explanation, and I won't put you on the spot. I still wish Nolan Gorman would have hit last night for Mason Wynn the way that Wynn has hit, but there was at least an explanation for the why, and you can disagree with that, but it's not a secret. It's not a mystery.
Yeah, and I think it's a reasonable thing to it's a reasonable stance for you to have. I'm glad that Mason had a chance to hit because I think you don't want to lose Mason. I think that's what I would say. But he's going to know that better in the clubhouse what's going on. But, would we have liked to see Gorman take a shot at it? Yeah, I mean, but, not at the expense of losing your shortstop that catches every ball in sight. And not that you would lose him completely over one at bat, but I think that's the thinking there. But yeah, and there's reasons. I mean, disagreeing agreeably, baseball people should be pretty good at that.
Yeah.
So, Rick, I'm a little embarrassed to even ask you this. My buddy Kevin Wheeler is going to give me crap when we go to break. But what do you make of the turbo bats?
I don't know a lot about whether or not they should be legal or not. I don't know the specifications. There's a lot of intricacies into that. It's not the first time you've had a bat that had a thick middle of the bat. I mean, I used one in high school. I mean, I didn't call it a turbo bat because I didn't make contact enough. But, the point is...
They were called bottle bats back then.
I used a Nellie Fox model.
Yeah.
And it had just a very thick kind of center of the bat. And it, it seemed like it felt to me that it was balanced. And that's the whole point. It's balanced. You still have to hit it. I mean, you can't... you still got to make contact. You still have to have a good swing. So I think it's a little bit, more too much to do about nothing. But we'll see.
It is interesting, and I think the problem that I have mostly with it, Rick, is the sensationalism that you're getting because the Yankees hit a bunch of home runs. I mean, can we at least wait a month? Right. Can we at least go past 3 games where the Brewers pitched like crap?
Judge hit him without that.
Right, and Judge isn't using it, and he hit 3 of the home runs in one game. So I actually hope it works. I hope it is a boost because we need something on the offensive side to balance things out.
Yeah, well, I once I've told the story several times about being with a guy in minor leagues and watched him cork his bat in his room, and he brought a drill on the road, corked his bat, and the next day he struck out 4 times.
It was too light.
The whole point was you cork the bat so you can get to the inside pitch and swing hard and hit it further, and you still got to make contact.
All right, let's look ahead to tonight, Rick. I mean, because I think every game ties into the next, especially now with bullpens being used a lot. So the bullpen got used a lot yesterday, and it really wasn't because Miles struggled. Miles was fine. It was just kind of the nature of the beast, and he ran into some trouble in the 6th, and Roycroft came in there, but then you had the extra inning. So you used all 4 of your big 4, and you've got Liberatore tonight, who's not likely to go 7, although we can hope that he does. I find that to be one of the fun parts about baseball is trying to figure out, okay, who can come back. You know, Maton only threw this many pitches, and people shouldn't look at innings. They should look at pitches. Like Roycroft threw 6 pitches. He's going to be fine tonight.
Yeah.
So I find that, though, tonight to be very interesting to see how that plays.
Well, John King becomes important. Roycroft is important. And Maton did not – he's had a late start to spring training, and all he was talking about maybe not wanting to use him back-to-back very often. So all those things go into it. You know what else it makes you think about? How important it was that Steven Matz was able to go 4 innings in relief the day before.
For sure.
So you can reach back to that and say that if that didn't happen, you might be in trouble.
No, that's a great point. I think, and that's where this staff can be good, I think, Rick. Is, you know, you're not always going to get a ton of innings, but I look, if Liberatore pitches well, there's no reason he can't go 6 and, you know, solve some of those problems. And I'll be really interested in him coming out and making his first start of the year. But that's why this team, I think, is in a good position because Leahy can give you a couple of innings. You didn't touch John King. You know that Roycroft only threw 6. And look, Ryan Helsley can come back too. I think he threw like 15 pitches, 16 pitches, something like that. So I find that all to be fun.
I still hope for the days where we can go back to where a pitcher can throw. I mean, there were several times I'd throw 3 or 4 innings and then pitch the next day. And it wasn't hard. It really wasn't.
Really?
It wasn't hard to do. Oh, yeah. It really isn't hard to do as long as you're not throwing max effort on every pitch.
Well, good point. Yeah, when you're gripping it and ripping it, you're going to get tired quite fast.
So can I just say, I am fascinated by Michaelis. Like, I'm not trying to be stupid here. I know I can't hit him, but when you watch him pitch, you feel like you could hit him. Like he just he doesn't overpower anyone, but the guy can throw and the guy can pitch, and I'm really rooting for him this year.
Yeah, pinpoint accuracy, that's part of his deal. In fact, the manager's been telling him the coaching advice to him and from the pitching coach is you're throwing too many strikes.
Yeah.
You know, when was that ever said at a Little League game? Never. I mean, it's all about throwing strikes. But for him, he has to stay out of the middle of the plate when he's ahead in the count, and that's kind of what he's working on. And one thing you really need to see, Dave, you're going to love him even more if you can get a screenshot of the hat that he wore during the press conference last night after his game. It is pretty spectacular.
That's great. And, you know, again, as the junior member of this team, when it comes to knowledge of the game, it seems to me, I will tip my hat. I've had a complicated relationship with Marmol, but I will tip my hat and say that so far I can't find much to criticize, whether it's the pitching decisions or it's the lineups. Like, no one's perfect, but he's doing really well.
Well, winning does that for you, and when the players execute, it does that for you. And there's a big difference, you know, between, you know, if the guy's in the right spot and he comes through. Now what if Pages didn't go 3 for 4 in his spot start? Or what if Nolan Gorman, the criticism would be, how can you change the lineup after you won the first 2 games? Well, I mean, if the players hadn't performed, that probably would have been a concept. And so I think that's just kind of how it works. It's the nature of the beast.
And a little bit of this too, Rick, I think we talked about it a bunch last year. The bench was a little limited in terms of options last year just because you needed some insurance in a couple of spots. So you had a lot of left-handed guys on the bench and you didn't really have an answer for that. But you have Lucan Baker this year as the answer for left-handed pitching, and he goes out in his first opportunity to start and goes 2 for 4 with a walk. And eventually some of those twos are going to turn into bombs, but I mean, that's what you have him there for.
When's the last time the Cardinals were able to take a guy who hadn't played the first 3 games, insert him into the 4th game, and he was batting 3rd, for goodness sake? I mean, so there's another example of Lucan executed. He got a hit, then another hit, then he walked. First 3 times he got on base. So, you know, makes Ollie look like a genius. And, you know, that's the plan to begin with, but the player still has to execute.
I feel for the guys who are still 0 for. It's one thing to be 2 for 20. But it's tough when you haven't had a hit yet. That just has to really haunt you.
Yeah, getting off to a bad start is not a good. I mean, it is hard because you're seeing your average on the board. I mean, numbers are everywhere now, so you can't escape it.
No.
And you know, I think Wilson Contreras, being a little older, I'm a little less worried about him. His spring training was really good.
Right.
Mason Wynn this is an extension of his spring training. What he's going through. But the good thing about Mason, I don't want to say good thing. It's not his first rodeo either. 2 years ago in AAA, he was basically 0 for April. I mean, he had a terrible start. I'm going to find his numbers today and talk about that during the game. But he had the worst start you can imagine and ended up having a good year. So he's typically a slow starter, and so I think he can draw on that.
All right, buddy. Have a great game. And again, an excellent call last night.
Yes, thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Do you know that by donating your gently used items to Goodwill, you're not only giving those items a new life, but you're helping people right here in your community enrich their lives with meaningful work? Your donations support Goodwill's mission of helping people with barriers to employment to be able to get rewarding jobs which provide not only a paycheck, but a very important sense of purpose. Your donations really do change lives. Give hope, give local, give Goodwill.
Cardinals fans, join the conversation at Busch Stadium with some of your favorite former Cardinals. With the Cardinals Conversations presented by Edward Jones, you'll hear from former Cardinals such as Ozzie Smith, Ted Simmons, Ray Langford, David Eckstein, or David Freese. Each conversation hosted by Cardinals announcers Chip Carey or Brad Thompson. Your experience also will include a ticket to the game, a pre-signed photo, and the opportunity to take your photo with the featured player. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/conversations.
So Dr. Corey Solman is kind of a strange live endorsement because I don't want anything bad to happen to you guys. I don't want anything bad to happen to my family. And so I kind of hope that you never meet Dr. Solman professionally. But KMOX has a big enough audience out there and thousands of people and car accidents and sports and slip and falls and those kinds of things. Any number of you during 2025 are going to need to see an orthopedic surgeon. Now, whether you do or not, and let me make this point for this live endorsement. It's not like the olden days when you have to call your general practitioner and get a referral and he sends you to his or her golf buddy. You can call Dr. Corey Solman, 636-231-5881, SolmanOrthopedics.com. Let him know that, hey, I'm from the DGS and I can tell you, proof positive, that does help. That does grease the wheels. That does get you in, especially if it's something emergent. That if someone just took a bad fall or they just had a car accident and you need to see them quick, they will get you in, whether it's a sprained ankle or it's a green stick compound fracture, a back issue, whatever it happens to be. You can trust Corey. He is one of the best surgeons just when it comes to knowledge and dexterity. He's a very easy guy to talk to, very affable, very charming, very funny. Again, that's Solman, S-O-L-M-A-N, SolmanOrthopedics.com.
College holds a mythic place in American culture, but there are stories you won't hear on the campus tours.
The higher-ups are concerned about one thing, and that is avoiding scandal.
I'm Margot Gray. On the new podcast, Campus Files, we cover everything from rigged admissions to the drama of Greek life and student protests. Listen to and follow Campus Files, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, I'm Amy Mark Scores. Are you dealing with knee pain? Maybe plantar fasciitis? I've got good news. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on insoles. You need Superfeet. Superfeet insoles come with high arches, low arches, or a more custom fit. I get the high arches. They cost $60. I've been wearing them for almost 20 years. Stop by any Fleet Feet location and they'll fit you up. St. Charles, Chesterfield, De Pere, South County, or O'Fallon, Missouri.
104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Stronger than ever.
223 DGS on 104.1 FM KMOX. There's been so much about Greenland and J.D. Vance, who seems like the most unaware human I've ever seen, was in Greenland and talking about how Denmark doesn't take care of them. And I understand there will be some of my conservative friends out there who agree with that, and Denmark's socialist, and they're this and they're that, and they're wussies. But I have some statistics here. Denmark has a 37-hour work week. They get 25 days paid vacation off because their unions are so strong over there. They get 10 government vacations per year. They get 30 days paid full pay if they're injured or sick. They're doing okay.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad to me.
No. That sounds great, actually. I think I'm made for that. I'm probably made for socialism. There you go. I said it. Like, I'm Nordic. All those Norland places over there where they take care of you from cradle to grave, and no one's rich, but no one's poor. Sign me up.
I like their prisons. Their prisons seem nice.
Yeah, they do.
Sometimes I'll watch a YouTube video about this is the high security prison, and they have a TV and a bed. It's this is awful cozy.
I watch haven't seen it lately, but I've watched several seasons of World's Toughest Prisons. A guy named Raphael Rowe goes in, who was he's a British guy that was wrongfully convicted of murder. So he spent a long time before he was released in real prison.
Yeah.
So now as a TV host, he goes and he stays in these prisons with prisoners and kind of this is what it's like. So he goes to some of the awful ones in Eastern Europe where it's a gulag. But then you go to the Scandinavian countries or a few other places where it's it's like a hotel, and they don't have the same recidivism rate that everybody else has.
Yeah.
I mean, the murderers are just with everybody else, and everybody gets along. The guards just sit and eat lunch with them.
Weird.
Yeah.
Rach, you see what's happening to one of your favorite restaurants, Hooters?
They filed for bankruptcy protection.
And they're coming back as a family-friendly restaurant.
Yeah, I tried to figure out what they meant by that.
They're getting rid of the risque outfits. They're getting rid of bikini night.
I didn't even know about bikini night.
Oh, it's Wednesday. I mean,
I didn't even. Yeah, I can't. You can't tell me they're taking it away when I'm just learning about it.
They're going to elevate the food, which I think is ridiculous.
The food is perfect.
Food
no
is
notes on the
perfect.
food.
So yeah, they're going to try. Although I understand that there's value in a name. Everyone knows Hooters, but when you're trying to do kind of the opposite of what comes with the name,
I mean, what's the name all about?
Yeah, just open a new restaurant.
Just rebrand the whole thing.
Yeah.
Hooters for the fam.
For
and
the
then
kids.
and then just keep the food the same if that's what you think is the draw.
Food is
they got good food.
Righteous.
Farewell, bikini night. We barely knew ye.
Would you go to a bikini night?
Probably not. I'd be much too timid.
Would you take part in a bikini night?
I would be happy to take part if they're looking for applicants. If they're looking for just a more inclusive sort of bikini night, I would be more than happy to.
I really did not know that this exists. Is this a weekly thing?
Yeah, is this
I just heard about it on the news story.
Is this every
Dave's I've never gone to bikini night.
Yeah, I don't know.
The one at Keener Plaza? Are they
I'm
doing
pretty
bikini
sure.
nights?
Yeah, because they said they're getting rid of the risque outfits. They're getting rid of bikini night.
It's not like I knew that it was every Thursday starting at 6.
Googling it. Hold on.
Not that I knew that Jody looks the best.
Yeah.
Starting at 6 is very funny. They got to start bikini night at some time. And just being you show up and find, if you're there for the shift change, you got to be what is this now?
If you're there for the shift change. That would be, I think Hooters is great. Hooters is great.
Delicious food.
Even for what it is. Great. I'm sad for the guys that know the ladies by their first name.
Yeah.
When you're a regular, but for the grace of God go I. But if your name's Mel and you walk in, everyone goes, Mel. It's oh.
Yeah.
A little sad.
Unless it's Cheers, then it's cool.
That's how I feel going into Duke's Bakery.
The internet does not want to tell me.
They're hey, haven't seen you in a couple of weeks.
Ramjet. That'd be great if you stole my nickname I stole from Roger Watkins. What'd you say, Rach?
The internet just doesn't want to tell you about bikini night. All the headlines are end of bikini night, no more bikini night. Well, tell me the deets. What was this? Now you're going to drive me crazy.
We should have a DGS night at the next bikini night.
I'll find the details. Don't worry.
I'm on the Hooters website now. I'm on the case.
So, guys, about Michael's Baths, this is the easiest live I think I've ever done. It is so easy. Everyone out there has a bathroom. Most people don't like their bathroom. A lot of people are looking to modernize it, maybe make it a little more safe for you or an elderly loved one who's moved in with you, or whatever it happens to be. Whether you're selling your house and you want to get a good return on investment, or you've decided not to sell your house, but you're going to update your bathrooms. So there's Bath Fitter, there's 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, there's Jacuzzi Bath, and then there's Michael's. Mike does the same thing that they do. He puts in new bathrooms within 1 to 3 days. He does it for about 30 to 50% less than those other companies do, because I can tell you, being in the advertising business, they have a really big expense to cover on all of that national advertising. They do really, really well. Well, there's little old me here on little old KMOX telling you about little old Michael's Bath, who is family owned and operated. Everything is local. Everything is done to the T. You have Mike's cell phone. Everyone from the DGS who's used Mike so far has been super happy with him. And if you're a disabled veteran, you can get a brand new bathroom for free. 636-775-0800, michaelsbaths.com.
St. Louis, your drive home just got a whole lot better. Introducing Redbird Rush Hour, weeknights at 5. Get the latest local news, up-to-the-minute traffic, and exclusive St. Louis Cardinals insights, all in one power-packed hour. Whether you're stuck in traffic or cruising home, stay informed and stay connected to your city and your team. The Redbird Rush Hour, weeknights at 5, on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
We take you now to Dave Murray's weather, sponsored by Interpark Holdings.
Wind will be picking up as we go through our afternoon. Let's just call it windy. Plenty of sunshine, though, and warmer than yesterday, 62. Tonight, more and more clouds take over, but the winds stay with us not only this evening, but all night long, 55. Unsettled on Wednesday with scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's a windy day. Some storms could become strong to severe as we go through Wednesday afternoon. We need to stay alert Wednesday afternoon, 75. Any storms end Wednesday evening. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The easiest way to park on game day is to park with iParkit. iParkit has the best game day parking garages in St. Louis. 2 iParkit garages are on Clark Avenue, right next door to the ballpark. Just download the iParkit app and drive in and out using only your license plate. Use iParkit for convenience and peace of mind.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Baseball is all about stepping up to the plate when it matters most. And when you've been injured, you need a heavy hitter in your corner. At Morgan & Morgan, we don't back down. We fight to get you every dollar you deserve. No curveballs, no strikeouts, just results. That's why we've recovered over $25 billion for our clients and fight for them from offices nationwide. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Today, the Cards, the Angels.
Ameren Total Access 550.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back, DGS on KMOX 232. Wait for it, wait for it. We've replaced the Lord's Prayer with Nazareth.
Oh my God.
So this will be playing every morning. That's why people love me.
It's pretty good.
Razor's Edge?
Yeah, I saw a article written by a young person named Claudia Cockerell from The Standard.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of her article was, "I'm a young person who won't debase myself on social media, and that causes a big problem." And she basically just goes on to write about how the fact that she's a journalist, she's trying to build up her Twitter followers, and she originally tried to do that by just thinking of funny, witty things to say to get more people to follow her so that more eyeballs would get on her articles and such. But then she looked around and she noticed the people that seemed to get the most attention were posting like selfies and pictures like that. And she basically just talks about the fact that you have to play this game in 2025, at least. I mean, it started before this, but in 2025, you absolutely have to play this new game that we didn't have to play before in order to be successful, to be considered a success. And I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. For the longest time, I've been pretty, not like anti-social media, but I just don't ever post or ever do anything. But I'm at a point now where I look around at other people my age, and it's like, I'm the weird one for not doing that. It's 100% holding me back in my career that I don't do that more. You kind of have to play the game if you want to be taken seriously at this point. Whereas in the past, maybe you were taken less seriously because of your social media accounts.
It's a weird time. There are radio shows that suck that have great social media, and it carries them through, even though their content is bullcrap. I mean, we just started doing this. I mean, I've been a dinosaur about this. Like, I have no social media myself, but we have it through the show, but I just couldn't give a rat's ass less about it. And then they're finally like, just grabbed me by my big cheeks and said, look, you have to do this. You just have to compete. And we still don't do it at a level like the bullcrap shows, but.
Well, it's another way. The way you have to think about it is it's marketing yourself. Most people, when they hear about a new thing, like if I hear about a new restaurant, I do go and look at their Instagram. I want to see what they've put up on their Instagram account, because I'm like, well, what's your best stuff that you're putting out there?
That makes sense to me. And I just don't want to do anything I'm not proud of. Like, and I don't understand it. You know, like I'll send Rach a picture and say, is this something that you would post? Is this something that you'd post? As long as it's something that you're proud of, okay, that's great. But if you're just sitting around trying desperately to think of things to lure people in, I'm just not into that. Not when you have a product. Like, we have a product. We do a 4-hour show. And what we're trying to do with social media, I guess, is not only augment that, but lure you in to listen. I don't know.
Well, it feels like kind of reverse engineering at times doing this, because it's like, oh, Dave already has this huge show that thousands of people already listen to. But then we have to turn around and market it to people who have never heard of it before. It's just very interesting. A lot of people use social media as their launching point of like, now this is going to take my business somewhere. Your business already is somewhere.
Yeah.
So it just feels kind of awkward sometimes. Like,
it's the new
trying to make
billboards,
that
though.
work. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, depending on how many accounts how many people you can reach.
Yeah.
Right.
Rachel also hit on something really interesting about how it used to be you'd get in trouble for your social media. You were always warned, like, be very careful what you're posting, because every one of your employers is going to look at it. And now more and more we're hearing like there are movie studios, that's been in the news for the past couple of weeks, that there are movie studios that will like refuse to hire an actor or actress if they have like under a certain number of like millions of Instagram followers. Like it's gone from like, yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't really use social media if I were you, that can cost you jobs in the future, to like, if you don't, like, what's going to cost you is not posting on social media and not having a huge following.
Right, but you also can't just post the dumb crap, because if you do that, you're not going to get anything either. You have to post and be entertaining and be a lot, and not put the things out there that are going to hold you back someday.
Well, we were just having a discussion today in the kitchen, you and me and our boss, Steve Moore, about otherwise talented broadcasters who have either fallen into or ran as fast as they could into doing jackass stuff and doing hot takes, and some of them getting in trouble legally now. And I don't know. I guess I'm just going to be the last guy out and turn off the lights on this kind of radio, on this kind of content.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to continue, but it's going to come along with everything else, right? It's going to come along with webcasts. It's going to come along with, presence on all social media. I don't think this kind of thing's going to go away. I mean, there's a taste for it. I mean, this show proves it. Look how many downloads you're getting.
Yeah.
You look at the podcast downloads. We're part of that. We're just not necessarily posting a lot on X or on Facebook or whatever.
Casey points out that ABC, NBC, CBS are doing well when they get 7 million views, but someone like Joe Rogan has 20 to 30 million with each video.
Little apples to oranges. Because like
bit.
ABC is like measuring real time how many people watched this show during the show versus a podcast that's up forever. And it's like it's not just that period of time live. Joe's not getting 20 million people live. You're going to get that in total. And I'm not saying it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It's just different. You got to measure them. It's like measuring a football season versus baseball.
It's
football 17 games, baseball's 162. They're very different.
So weird to me. I haven't had this happen to me, but I've had this fake discussion in my head many times that people don't think it's cool to listen to talk radio. They prefer podcasts.
Same thing.
It's the same thing.
It is the same
Especially
thing.
a show like this. I listen to podcasts. I love podcasts. It's talk radio. It's just a more laid back, typically a longer form. You can cuss. But it's just talk radio.
And a lot of them can be more specific, right? You can do a Bigfoot podcast. You can do, nothing but baseball analytics nerd podcast. And it'll have its own audience, and that audience is going to love that. But it's not a broad appeal necessarily. But there are broad appeal shows like Rogan. What's the one that just unseated him for the #1 podcast?
It goes back and forth. I don't know which one you're talking about.
I think it's something like, is it Say Her Name or something
Call
like
Her
that?
Daddy,
Call
probably.
her, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I really appreciate everyone who's weighing in on the stream. Janelle and
Very
Dave. Nick says in his line of work, which is creative advertising, social media is absolutely essential, but it's exhausting. And that's the thing is like all of these companies, I'm not just here to like complain about Odyssey at all. I like working here a lot and I like doing the social media, but it's like that is a whole other job on top of the job you're already doing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, we got to beef up the social media content. It's like, okay, that takes time, that takes effort, that takes editing, that takes planning. And I feel like many companies all across the nation, all over the world are like, and then just do that too. And it's very overwhelming for people sometimes.
I guess I'm going back to the first hour now that I'm a bitch, but when I see most people's social media, I just think it's dumb. I just think it's bad. Like, oh, you smashed the cake in her face? You're crazy. Let me listen to your radio show. You know what I mean? Like, if that's your best stuff, if that's putting your best foot forward, if that's sort of like, okay, weird analogy. When I was in Greece, one of the best bites of food I ever had, we're going through Santorini, and it's just like a postcard and all these white domes and these tiny little streets. And this Greek guy comes out into the street and like physically grabs us. He's like, come in here, come in here, come in here. And we go up there, and there's this giant window with about 100 rotisserie chickens looking out over the ocean. And he just rips off a piece of chicken and gives it to us. And it's one of the best bites of food I've ever had. That guy came out. I didn't know that was up there, grabbed me and drugged me in. And here I am 40 years later talking about what a great bite of chicken it was. That's what people do now. That's what, to me, social media is going out into the street, grabbing someone and saying, you got to taste my chicken. The annoying part now is that everyone's cousin Sally is grabbing you by the lapel and saying, come taste my great chicken. It's just like, I don't want to say we got to get past this because some people love it, but it just seems like we can't sustain this.
Well, I got to disagree there because I feel like everyone has the right to try on social media. That's what makes it great.
I'm not saying they don't.
Right. But sometimes these conversations do seem to turn into like, and who do they think they are trying to be famous on? So it's like, well, this is like the great level playing field. I'm not saying everyone has the exact same chance, but everyone's kind of working with the same. Everyone starts from zero.
I guess
right?
I'm just surprised at what people find entertaining.
Yeah, I feel that.
Well,
speaking of social media, I was on TikTok last night. There is a popular TikTok sound going around right now talking about how every woman should be able to do 11 push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I started that.
It was actually Mel Robbins and like a fitness coach she had on her podcast. And Mel Robbins was like, yeah, push-ups on your knees, right? And she's like, oh God, no, it has to be 11 full push-ups. So I thought to myself, as did many women on TikTok, let me see how many I can do. I can do about 1 push-up currently. I do not have a lot of upper body strength. So I am formally challenging myself on the air to be able to do 20 push-ups, because 20 is a nice round number, by the 4th of July.
You'll do it.
You can do that in a few weeks.
Really? You think so?
Yeah. Some of it will be technique, like getting your hand positioning right and doing things like that. And then once you can do 1, you're like, well, all right, I'm going to try 2 tomorrow. And then once you get 2, you're like, I can do 3. Like, it builds pretty fast.
Yeah, this is why I wanted to talk to you guys about this, because I was like, I don't know when to set this goal for. I don't know if it should be in a year or if it should be in a couple of weeks. So I think July 4th is a nice, like,
yeah, you'll do it before
reasonable
that. Yeah.
amount.
Will you do
All
a
right.
couple of push-ups for us in the break? So we can assess. Doesn't have to be online.
Yeah, sure. I'll show you what I can do. It's not great.
So one of the things I struggled with when I was doing this, I don't know, 6-7 years ago.
Trying to do 11 push-ups?
No, I can do those, but I can't do pull-ups.
Oh.
I've always struggled with pull-ups.
I've never been able to do pull-ups.
And some of the problem was I wasn't doing it correctly.
Mm.
And I was working with a trainer who was like, okay, here's the trick. Get going. And then you do this and this and this. And I'm like, all right, now I can do 4. I'm like, and I don't know, it took a while, but my goal was to get to 20. And you can do that if you're working the technique and doing it right. And obviously, you're building up strength to do that too. Because there are specific muscles that do those things.
Glovers are dense.
Yeah,
it's hard to move this around.
I'm an anchor.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
At the Williams residence, everything looks kind of the same from the outside, but inside their lives just got way happier. 3 years of inflation and debt had crushed them, but for the first time, they had the cash to secure their retirement, pay off bills, and plan their future. They didn't win the lottery exactly. They did a genius financial strategy called the Sell and Stay program from Truehold. It's easy. Their home's value had rebounded greatly, so they quickly sold it to Truehold and banked all that equity in cash. But since they weren't ready to move, they could stay put with an easy, affordable lease. Truehold even paid their property taxes, home insurance, and essential home repairs. Truehold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a Truehold offer now while your home's value is high. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out after your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Spring is here. Time for daffodils and road construction. Do your part to avoid a work zone crash. Pay attention, slow down, put the phone down while driving so we can all go home safe. Join the 11th Annual St. Louis Work Zone Awareness 5K, Saturday, April 19th in Chesterfield. Sign up today at KinghamOX.com/events. That's KinghamOX.com/events. Brought to you by the Missouri Coalition of Roadway Safety.
Need a lawyer? Onder wins. Call Onder Law at 314-9-million. That's 314-9 all zeros. Or go to onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
So, you want to buy a house. You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. More scheduling, more viewings, more. This doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rush? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never ending paperwork. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Man, this song used to make me sad when I was like in 7th grade.
Sure.
Still 20, 25 years away from a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Was this like the junior high school dance type thing back then?
Oh, boy, was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do the same thing with the Maroon 5 song, She Will Be Loved.
Yeah.
I was like,
Would you
man.
sing with a hairbrush or anything like that?
I would just listen with my headphones, laying on the
Feeling it.
floor with my headphones on, hooked up to my little CD player. And I would feel every note. I was like, oh, she will be loved. It's like, you've never had a boyfriend. What are you talking about? Why are you feeling this
You
so
wear
deeply?
gauchos.
Crazy how real the emotions are.
It's
back then.
crazy.
Yeah. So
Now
true.
I feel like if Megan left me, I'd just be like, all right.
Oh my God, did I say that?
Makes sense.
You'd be what?
I'd be like, all right, whatever. Makes sense.
You wouldn't be writing songs?
I don't think I'd be writing Love Hurts about it. I think I'd be like, whatever.
You're like, I should have seen this coming when I got the hammock.
Yeah.
She doesn't need me anymore. She has the hammock.
Only room for one in this hammock.
Then it tried to kill me.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been tripping me as I try to step over it.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in the hammock?
I have.
Okay.
How'd that go?
It's fine. Like, it's okay. I mean, I'm not like the biggest hammock fan. They're a lot nicer when they're like outside on the beach and not like in your living room.
Granted.
Is she still in it all the time, or has she kind of gotten over it?
No, she doesn't even use it anymore. That's why it hurt so much when it tried to kill me.
What if you took it down? Would you be upset?
I think I am going to take it down very soon. Maybe
Assert
this
yourself.
weekend. Because it's like she doesn't so she laid in it so much that it started like hurting. It would cause like pain to her like back and shoulders and stuff because she was just spending because it's a hammock.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell her. I was
There's
like,
no
you're not supposed to spend 10 hours at a time in a hammock.
Look what it did to Gilligan all those years.
You're supposed to lay in it for 40 minutes and drink a Mai Tai. So it's like, I think it's time for the hammock to go. It served its purpose. We got our money's worth, and now I'm gonna burn it.
Throw it in the backyard.
I'm gonna set fire to it.
What if she wrote a song called Hammock Hurts?
My back hurts. Back hurts. No support.
Hey, these are pretty good parody songs. We should actually be writing these down.
What do you guys think of the chimp crazy thing? That she's now pled guilty to obstructing justice and perjury. So here's my understanding, and I could be wrong. I don't know that they're getting her on being mean to the animals.
No, she did lie to.
Yeah, she said that Tonka was alive or dead.
This is on the show.
Yeah.
Like, her sitting there on a Zoom call with a judge, lying to the judge.
Yeah.
Was recorded and on the show. I mean, it's crazy the way they then cut away to her walking down to hang out with Tonka, who she was just crying about being dead.
Have you watched it?
I watched
Sup,
the first
Tonka?
couple episodes.
Okay.
Reminder to the audience: we were a hunch him crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure were.
There's a little bit of a Rush song and then Dave talking, which is so funny. I love that they may have had to pay like licensing fees for the Rush song because it was our bumper music.
Well, I was saying the other day, like that's the most classic DGS bumper music ever. Like when
Yeah.
it comes in, it's like, oh my gosh, this is perfect.
I had so many people text me that first day it was out. Just
Really?
like, yeah, like, oh my God,
Hmm.
you're on Netflix. I hate April Fool's Day.
Me too.
Well, you like it because
Yeah, you love it because you love pranks.
Yeah, but I haven't tricked any of you guys.
No, which we appreciate.
One of my most proud days of my kid when she was young, she played April Fool's pranks on us before we woke up.
Well, that's cute.
She went out and she did the thing where you use a rubber band to hold the what do you call it, the spray shooter from the sink.
Oh, good one.
So that when you turn on the sink, it shoots you.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. That was great.
That's pretty good.
I was so proud.
But she's a child.
Well, yeah, she was 8 at the time,
That's
probably.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she did it now, I'd laugh just as hard. That's great.
When you're 48,
it's fine. I don't mind being the pranky either. That's okay.
it's kind of like New Year's.
so-
kind of like rookie day.
I get you. Yeah. That's
So you,
true.
you don't prank us because we would absolutely lose our minds if you did it. And you don't prank your wife, I'm guessing.
Yeah, not usually, no.
So
she
who-
doesn't like the prank
So
game.
who are you pranking?
Ben Boyd.
Okay.
It's just him and Ben keeping the prank economy
No,
alive.
I get like the I've gotten Pajeski a bunch of times. You know, I think people that are okay playing the game.
You
He's
and
like,
Boyd
people
are
that are
like
cool.
You're like the North and the South in the Civil War.
Yeah.
you're two powerhouses.
We're best
Two-
friends,
two
but we're
nations
also
at war.
Yeah, brother versus brother.
Two nations at war.
Yeah, I mean, we are brothers.
You're
in
like
a
if
lot of
Robert
ways.
E. Lee would have hidden behind a bush and jumped out when Grant came by.
Yeah.
No, I am. So, Kevin and I share the office. We sit next to each other, and I am always terrified of because I know that at any moment I could be collateral damage to a Ben Boyd attack. Just by nature of being too close.
He could be in this room right now.
Exactly. Like I'm
He
just too
is.
close to Kevin, and I'm gonna get splashback from the Ben Boyd attack
If
when
he's
it
in
happens.
here, he's probably going to grab someone's leg any second.
Hey.
Let's get out of here.
The Biz Dash returns as St. Louis's healthiest happy hour. Combining fitness and fun, it's a perfect team bonding activity for any size business. All levels of runners and walkers are welcome. Join us this spring at Energizer Park, home of St. Louis City SC, for the 10th year of the Biz Dash, the ultimate office party and kickoff to summer. Thursday, May 22nd at Energizer Park in downtown St. Louis. Create your company team today at stlbizdash.com.
If you want a golf course quality lawn, it's a lot easier and it's more affordable than you probably think it is when you work with True Green. I've been with them for at least a dozen years. It's probably closer to 15. And of course, they're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. So you're getting that pro level expertise that can come straight to your yard. So we had our landscaping company come out yesterday. This is the first cut for the spring. My God, the front yard looks amazing. And obviously that's because of True Green. It's not because of me. I know nothing about it. I don't know how to feed it. I don't want to learn how to do it. I don't want to, and I don't need to because True Green, well, they're the experts. This is what they do. And I mentioned it's more affordable than you think. Obviously, we've been doing it for a long time, but you can get 75% off your first service right now. So you combine that with the price match guarantee. You know you're going to get the best value. If you're ever unsatisfied, they'll come back out between visits to make it right. So if you spot a weed or two here and there that you didn't think should be there, they'll come back out and fix it. I don't know that we've done that, but they'll do that for you. It's part of their guarantee. So go to truegreen.com today, lock in that 75% off your first treatment, and then let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Warmer spring weather is right around the corner, and now is the time to plan your home's exterior renovation project. Banner Construction is booking now for homeowners to be first in line for beautiful James Hardie siding and Pella replacement windows. Beat the price increases and plan your project now. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050 to get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day.
Tell you guys about Susan L. Ward. Talk about her pretty much every day. She's not going to be significant to you unless you or someone in your life is going through a divorce or thinking about going through a divorce. And so let's just say that you're in the latter group, that you are thinking about it, but you haven't really told a lot of people yet. The very best thing you can do is talk to a really good divorce attorney who practices specifically in that jurisdiction. Now, the good thing about Susan L. Ward is she has multiple satellite offices. So she spends a lot of time in St. Louis County, but she's also in Jefferson County and St. Charles County and Warren County. And she's just a larger than life figure that everyone knows. Every judge knows her. I am quite positive that every judge respects her, and that's a big deal. You go into court with someone who the judge is going to have a benefit of the doubt for because they know her ethics, they know her intelligence, they know that she probably knows the law as well or better than they do. She's going to get not breaks like as in, but kind of like, tie goes to the runner kind of thing. So talk to Susan. She'll answer all of your questions in detail. Then you'll have a much better basis on which to decide which way to move forward. 314-783-9400, stlfamilylaw.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 3 o'clock, we've got some clouds. It is 59 degrees downtown at the Arch. President Trump's trade tariffs are set to go into effect tomorrow.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says these reciprocal trade tariffs are long overdue.
The lack of reciprocity contributes to our large and persistent annual trade deficit that's gutted our industries and hollowed out key workforces.
Questions abound over the specific details on which products and which countries will be affected by these tariffs. Leavitt says while that will become clear tomorrow, what is clear now is that American workers deserve a fair shake. She also rejects concerns that tariffs will lead to higher prices. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says his country will not allow itself to be weakened by U.S. policies.
We are going to be very deliberate in terms of the measures we take to fight for Canada.
A new building on the campus of St. Louis Community College will train the next generation of manufacturing workers.
The Advanced Manufacturing Center will consolidate all of St. Louis Community College's manufacturing programs into a new state-of-the-art facility. Chancellor Dr. Jeff Pittman.
All that focus for the most part on advanced manufacturing, industrial maintenance, HVAC, welding, engineering technology, and geospatial.
Governor Mike Kehoe hopes this can help make the region more attractive to developers.
I don't think we can invest enough in our young generation to get them ready for the future workforce.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
This baseball season, Latin quick service restaurant Mayo Ketchup has a stand inside Busch Stadium, Section 168. Co-owner Bradley Payne says for the last 2 years, their food's been a hit inside Energizer Park.
There, we have 17 matches a year, plus we do some extra. We're kind of a proving ground for us to see that there is going to be a market for Latin food. inside a stadium. I thought soccer makes sense. I think baseball makes even more sense.
Mayo Ketchup has a brick and mortar location in Midtown on Olive near Compton. The KMOX business desk in the latest survey, Bankrate reporting the median home price in Missouri is $257,000.
In Illinois, we've just got a statewide median of $284,000, and of course that's brought up by the Chicago area. So downstate Illinois, it's closer to that Missouri median.
Bankrate housing market analyst Jess Ostrowski tells KMOX the Midwest has lower home prices than the national median, which is $418,000. Let's get an update of the St. Louis Business Index now. To Stifel we go. Good afternoon, Scott Bedell.
Good afternoon, Michael. Hello, everyone. Following the worst quarterly performance for U.S. stock markets since 2022, the beginning of the second quarter began on a more positive note. At the close, the Dow Jones Industrial Average had fought back to close down just 12 points at 41,989. The Standard & Poor's 500 index gaining ground, up 0.4% at 5,633, while the NASDAQ Composite Index added a solid 0.9% to 17,449. Locally, the Bloomberg St. Louis Stock Index up a marginal 0.2% at 1,491. Looking at the top performing St. Louis stocks, Caleres gained 2.75% at $17.71. Build-A-Bear Workshop up 6% at $39.45. Stifel Financial added 0.5% at $94.80. On the downside, Boeing fell 1.4% at $168.17, while Olin Corporation slid 1.8%. They closed at $23.79. This has been Scott Bedell from Stifel Financial, member SIPC and New York Stock Exchange. For more information on our firm, we invite you to visit our website at stifel.com.
We've got a stalled vehicle 6440 going westbound at Clarkson Road. That's got the right shoulder closed. Some road work should be clearing out 5570 eastbound at Exchange. Had the two left lanes closed there. And Metro says Blue Line trains only operating between Shrewsbury and Forest Park, and Red Line trains are on a single track in the downtown tunnels because of a rail issue.
Plenty of sunshine on our Tuesday afternoon, but it will be on the windy side. 62 will do it for the high. These temperatures are a good 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. We're losing the northwest flow slowly. Tonight, more and more clouds take over, but let's keep it windy. 55. Wednesday, an unsettled day with a mix of clouds and sunshine. It stays windy on Wednesday with scattered showers and thunderstorms, and still thinking we have a real solid shot of strong to severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon. 75 for the high. Any storms end Wednesday evening. Thursday, rain developing. Not much in the way of storms. It's just a rain setup. 62, and let's keep it wet in the form of rain, not storms, Friday and Saturday. The heaviest rain in this Thursday, Friday, Saturday timeframe will be southeast Missouri and southern Illinois. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. At Penn Mutual, they believe that life insurance is the central part of a sound financial plan and that it can make an enduring impact for generations to come. Talk to your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Penn Mutual, trusted for life. We've got 58 in St. Peters and Florissant, 59 downtown at the Arch. Feels like is 47. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Welcome back, DGS on 104.1 FM KMOX. Is that John Pertzborn? John Pertzborn on the stream? Is that Pertz?
I think so. The service we use, it's hard to click on people's profiles.
Can't stalk them?
No.
Damn it. Because Pertzborn owes me money.
Let me stalk them through my phone.
That's okay.
Oh, no.
It's a John Pertzborn.
This is my hobby, Dave.
This is what you do? You're a stalker?
I am an investigator.
Maybe it's an impersonator.
Yeah, maybe it's Matt Chambers pretending to be John Pertzborn.
Wouldn't that be a
John.
game?
That's definitely John.
It's an Pertzborn mater.
Yeah, don't do that again.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah,
that was an Amy.
Go back to the wife stuff. That was gold. That was gold. That's pretty cool. John Pertzborn listening.
He said, "How much money?"
What you got?
I think he means from you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, he's barking on the wrong tree there. I already have enough dependents.
We don't even have lights on in the building.
Yeah, all the lights are
is
out.
real around here.
Yeah. Can they see that? I guess
no.
Yeah,
Not really. You can. I mean, you can tell if you watch every day. You can tell that the window behind Dave is pure darkness instead of bustling.
Yeah, the whole
newsroom.
office is just black.
Weirdly enough, we are like the only room in the building that has like lights and power.
Yeah. That's the way it should be.
But the bathroom lights are on. Like inside there, that's like on. So they must be on the generator too.
That's odd.
Thinking ahead, man.
Really odd. Kev, you have a stairway?
Sure. A couple of different ways we can go. We can do a new sports innovation thing, or we can talk about mindfulness.
Let's do mindfulness.
So I saw, I pulled the audio, but I don't think I want to play it because we probably had to edit it a little bit. I saw a stand-up comic yesterday, just a little clip on TikTok talking about mindfulness, and how you never heard the term mindfulness until recently, because every time you were just not doing something, you were not doing something, right? You weren't just like distracted. So he's like, when you're, I think the way he put it was like, you're in the crapper. Well, that's it. That's what you were doing. You weren't texting, you weren't reading, you weren't scrolling. You were just like, you're in the moment. And I wanted to ask you guys, because he's obviously being funny, but also making a point. Did that actually equate to mindfulness? Like when you're waiting in line at the DMV, were you sitting there like, I am totally in the moment right now, and I'm taking it? No, you were daydreaming, right?
Yeah. And bored,
right? But mostly you were just thinking about something else.
Yeah,
which is the same thing as scrolling, isn't it? Is it different if you're scrolling inside your head versus scrolling on your phone?
Different, but the same process.
This is what I mean, right? I mean, yes, it's a different. I'm sure it hits different parts of your brain, and I'm sure you get a different hit of the dopamine rush on some things compared to others, but I don't think we've ever been undistracted. And I thought it was interesting because he was making the point that, we were mindful of what was going on around us back then, but were we? Were we really? Because I don't remember being mindful in those moments as a kid or as a high school person or whatever. I was daydreaming about nothing happening at the moment.
See, when I think of mindfulness, I think of like, okay, pretend this Red Bull is hot tea.
Right.
Like I'm making my hot tea and I'm enjoying every aspect of it. And I'm really engaged in it. And I'm pouring the hot water over the tea leaves. And now I'm just letting it steep and I'm smelling it. To me, when I think of mindfulness, that's mindfulness. Or if I'm taking a walk, I am assertively, passively engaging in the beauty of nature. It's not just like I'm sitting at the DMV and I don't have my phone.
Right. But if you're walking through, let's just say you're taking that walk through nature. If you're, looking around like, man, there's birds there, and I'm looking at that tree's cool. Oh, look, they got a dog over there. That's one thing. But if you're just walking down the street and you're like, man, what a game last night. Can you believe? I mean, like it depends on just because you don't have the physical distraction of a phone doesn't mean you're focused on the moment.
Well, we're getting back to the whole inner dialogue.
Right.
A lot of people, as I understand it, because I'm the opposite, I'm just a thunderstorm of thoughts, that people don't really have many thoughts when they are alone without stimulation, which blows me away.
Kevin poses such an interesting question because it's like, yeah, you can daydream and be deep in a daydream, and that's not necessarily mindfulness. But when you compare it with the kind of stuff you're looking at on your phone, I think there's a difference between like, I'm going to read STL Today on my phone while I sit in this waiting room, or I'm going to watch a Skibbity toilet video. Like if you've ever seen one of those that the kids are always talking about.
Oh, they're crazy.
They're like, it's like, no wonder all these studies come out and say kids don't have an attention span or anything anymore, because that kind of thing, it's just so bizarre and so like mind melting and mindless. Like, I just think all phone content isn't created equal. So I think there's a way to be mindful and still be on your phone. But there's other stuff where it's like, that is pure trash. And we should probably try to limit that as much as possible.
It's also an argument that adults made about comic books 100 years ago. it was the almost word for word what we say now about your phone or whatever. I mean, it was exactly the same tone that people are too distracted by these little things. Whether it's the penny, like what do they call those? The penny dreadfuls, like the little short novelettes that people they don't have any attention span anymore because they're reading all these little short stories instead of reading a book.
I would find fascinating is if we could travel back in time to the early comic book days with an MRI machine and let people read comic books.
And see if the brain thing is the same.
Because you and I reading a comic book now, our brain, I would think, my hypothesis is, our brain would light up differently than someone in 1920.
Right.
Because in 1920, you have such a desert of stimulation compared to today. So I would imagine that maybe them reading a comic book would light up their brain the way us scrolling would today.
Because it would have been that exciting, fascinating thing. And just along this same lines, I saw, I didn't mark it down, but there was a tweet from that Pessimist Archive that I really like. They do a podcast and they talk about these types of things that like the old way of doing things has always feared the new ways. Like the old media always feared new media. So newspapers were killing comic books and novelettes back in the day.
Yeah.
Same idea, being that it rots your brain and it's not serious enough. And now if you're reading a comic book, it's quite a bit more respected, wouldn't you say?
Dave
like
says
you're kind of think of a throwback.
Dave says, I was always wondering about the same useless crap that I Google now.
Yeah, right. And that's a good point, Dave. Is like you would sit there and you would try to remember when did that happen, or how many home runs did he hit that year? But now you just be like, what was that? And you look it up as opposed to just sitting there trying to figure it out.
Kind of miss the days of figuring stuff out.
Sometimes, but I don't miss those days at all. I'm happy that all my friends can answer those things on their phones.
Like a lot of times.
I used to get calls all the time from the bar like, hey, we're having an argument. You settle it.
On the show, I will ask questions of you guys that I could clearly Google. But it's just more fun.
Yeah.
Sure,
not
it's a conversation. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, in a group of people, I think it's more fun to just talk about it. And then if nobody knows, well, you pull out the phone and you can Google it.
You want a cool science thing?
Yes.
So if you want an intelligent coverage of this, you can Google this article. But the Webb telescope has imaged a single galaxy from 330 million years after the Big Bang. Problem is, there are no galaxies from 330 million years after the Big Bang. It was still hydrogen and oxygen.
So they hadn't formed yet.
And so the hypothesis is it's some sort of a reflection of another universe.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
Like that.
Me like you.
I love that. I mean, I don't think there's any question that there's more than we know. It's just a question of whether is it interdimensionality? Is it just another like are we a universe inside a universe, or are there universes inside this one? Like I don't. It's all too complicated to know at this point. But the math suggests that all those things are possible.
You know, you wonder. You look at our trajectory of technology, understanding, and knowledge. And I mean, we had the Renaissance, no pun. I was going to say we had a real Renaissance during the Greek period, but we had a real Renaissance. And then we had the Dark Ages, and then we had the Industrial Revolution, then the Technological Revolution, now AI, quantum physics.
Quantum mechanics.
You wonder whether now that we've picked up speed, we're really going downhill, if it will continue like this, and 100 years from now, we'll know 1,000 times what we do now, or if we're going to kind of habituate, if we'll sort of slow down a little bit, like, yeah, we've learned a lot.
I don't know that we can slow down. I mean, it's not really in the human nature, right? Our human nature has always been to advance.
Yeah, we've never gone in terms of technological.
Well, we had a few hundred years there. Which you want to hear another cool thing? Google this. There are a lot of scholars who believe that we invented like 300 or 400 years during the Dark Ages, that like a king and a pope or something like that just said like, oh, it's the year 1000. They wanted to make it the year 1000 because they thought that was cool, but it was really like the year 660 or something like that. And that is why you have hundreds of years where nothing happened, because those hundreds of years didn't happen. Again, conspiracy theory, but one that a lot of academia believe in. and John Pertzborn.
Oh,
Yeah, he's the one who told me about it.
Is that what he meant about the dollar signs?
That's it.
Professor of medieval studies.
Was that code for you?
Little known fact.
You don't need to know this.
Speaking of conspiracy
What happens
theories,
at Fox 2 stays at Fox 2.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, did you see the study that shows that 3 out of 4 Gen Zers believe in a conspiracy theory? Have
No.
we talked about this?
No.
I just thought, like, of course, that's the result of being raised on the internet. Is you're just exposed
Oh,
to
Phoebe
so many.
Glover is a huge conspiracy nut.
You've mentioned this.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, she thought birds weren't real for a long time.
So she fell for that guy's
Yeah,
prank?
yeah,
Because even that guy didn't really
Right.
believe that. He was just
Right.
being goofball.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget. We're having dinner one night. And she's like, "Well, you know, birds aren't real." And I was like, "Oh, for the love of God."
Yeah. I mean,
What are they teaching you at KU?
well, you know, I understand the draw to conspiracy theories.
fun.
It's one of the reasons why I got into them as a hobby, and I read all about the big ones and try to learn about it. Because first of all, there have been conspiracies in history; they have happened. But I think it's pretty hard to say that you think everything is tied into a conspiracy, right? And a lot of times it's just people who don't understand a thing trying to find an explanation that makes sense to them because you don't fundamentally understand the thing that's actually going on.
Well, I mean, nature abhors a vacuum. And so if there's a vacuum of knowledge, we're going to fill it with stuff, and we're typically going to fill it with fun stuff. It's more
intrigue.
It's more fun to think that the CIA or the mob killed Kennedy than Oswald acting alone. It's just more interesting. And so if you can fill it with the Warren Report, or you can fill it with UFOs, or Jack Ruby was, Sleestack or whatever, like, that's more fun.
It doesn't help the case for people that are not conspiracy theorists. It doesn't help, though, when you can look at that same time period and see that the Joint Chiefs put forward a plan to the President of the United States to shoot down a plane to blame it on Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they threw out maybe a passenger jet, and then they're like, oh, no, let's do a dummy jet. That way we don't have to actually kill anybody. We can just make these people up, and they don't really exist.
That's better.
Like, that happened.
Yeah.
We know it happened.
Yeah.
So it's at that same time period. So I understand that need, but we got to be focused more on what we can prove, not what we think makes sense.
Under that whole "that happened" thing, this morning I was watching the news, and they were showing these, it was a grandma and her 2 granddaughters who appeared to be, like elementary school age, who have been stuck under a hospital collapsed in Southeast Asia since it happened. And they were filming themselves, and all they had was the light of their camera, and they're just on the bottom floor with a whole building on top of them for like 3 or 4 days. And they had like 1 bottle of water. Like, that happened to a human.
Yeah.
That, like, I always think like, well, that tree can't really fall in my house. That'd be so terrible. No, anything can happen to anyone at any time. And it's just happenstance or the grace of God that we're not under a building right now. So we have no lights in here.
It's crazy.
That's not happened to everybody out there.
But we have lights in here, though.
See, there you go.
Conspiracy. We did it.
Tell you guys about Zero Res and the deal they have for the month of April. $119 for 3 rooms of carpeting, $75 off your air duct cleaning. I can vouch not only for the great deals that they give you, but also for the quality of their work. They hire quality people. There are a lot of people in the carpet cleaning business, the flooring cleaning business, who are very fly by night, a lot of ex-cons, a lot of just like people you're just not sure you want to bring them in the house with your family kind of thing, And so at Zero Res, we hire great people. We pay them well. We give them good benefits and vacations. They stay with us for years and years. They work their butts off. You're going to show us what needs cleaned, where the high traffic areas are, where your husband dropped a pizza a couple of weeks ago, whatever. We're going to do our best job that we possibly can. And if you're not quite impressed enough, use the 30-day Gotta Love It guarantee. We'll come back and we will do it again. Make sure you mention me when you call or you book online, 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. With 56 million winning tickets last year, anyone can win big. So set your destination to winning, like gas stations, grocery stores, or anywhere you can buy a ticket. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Community America Credit Union is opening a new branch in Hazelwood. Join me, Amy Markscores, special Cardinals alumni, and Fred Bird on April 10th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the grand opening. We'll have food trucks and a chance to win prizes. See you there.
11:20 a.m., 104.1 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
How about some little fun facts?
Okay.
Drew Barrymore does not find Mr. Clean sexy. She says, quote, "It's like he is pumped and ready for action, and I feel uncomfortable when I see him because he is so sexual."
Is he so sexual?
I've never thought of him being so sexual.
Oh, I have.
Oh?
Really?
Yeah, you can. I mean, look at him. He's very intense, I think, with the way that he looks and the way that he like acts.
You know, he's a cartoon.
I mean, I'm just saying, I get where Drew's coming from. He's a little too intense for my liking, and that can be interpreted in various different ways.
You and Drew.
It's a little funny coming from Drew Barrymore, who's constantly in people's personal
No
space.
kidding.
Like, you need to simmer down, girlfriend.
Have you seen the John Boyega stuff with Star Wars?
No.
Says that Star Wars is the most whitest elite space ever in Hollywood, and that fans have trouble with black characters playing anything but a white person's best friend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought I heard that he was supposed to have a different story arc, and they kind of chickened out and made him more of a side character.
Yeah, they definitely bailed on his arc in the third movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because he was showing some force abilities early on in that trilogy. And in the first episode was a much bigger part of it. And then the third part of it, you're like, where did all that go? What happened?
Maybe he has a point.
Yeah, I don't disagree with him. I think the Star Wars fandom is I think it's a result of it being so big.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
It's arguably, I think, like the biggest group of people who are like really passionate about something.
Yeah.
And that just leads to,
It's going to include some racists.
It's going to include some good people. It's going to include some bad people, some very stupid people.
That's a great point. Like, it's just a huge group of people, but like, you know, George Lucas hasn't helped a lot of that. Just look at how the early movies were. Like, all the bad guys had foreign accents, you know? I mean, like, just the way that certain villains are portrayed, everything was always kind of like, what's he doing there?
So interesting that here on Earth, anyone can be an alien if you have a British accent. It's just like, we just decided that. I just accept it. Like, you know, I'm watching Star Trek and someone has a British accent. I'm like, oh, they're not from here. Dinosaurs existed before flowers. Scientists believe that flowering plants evolved as a response to dinosaurs because plants needed protection against vegetarian dinosaurs.
Oh?
So when the dinosaurs were here, there were no flowers.
So the flowers made them not eat the plant?
I guess.
Yeah. That's interesting.
You got one more fun fact?
I do. And this one, I struggled with this morning. 1 pound of dimes and 1 pound of quarters are worth the same amount. 200 dimes weigh 1 pound and are worth $20. 80 quarters weigh 1 pound and are worth $20.
That's cool.
St. Louis, your drive home just got a whole lot better. Introducing Redbird Rush Hour, weeknights at 5. Get the latest local news, up-to-the-minute traffic, and exclusive St. Louis Cardinals insights, all in one power-packed hour. Whether you're stuck in traffic or cruising home, stay informed and stay connected to your city and your team. The Redbird Rush Hour, weeknights at 5, on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we've got tough traffic downtown this afternoon. I've been talking since yesterday about the emergency repair work that was going on westbound 5570 at 64. Well, now there's emergency repair work eastbound as well, right around that area near Exchange Avenue. So we're jammed both ways. Westbound 5570 is backed up midway between 111 and 203 into 64. And eastbound 64 is jammed back across the Poplar Street Bridge. In fact, 64 and 44 are both backed up at Jefferson over to the Illinois side past that point. It's also impacting the usual Veterans Bridge. It's jammed back to the Missouri side as well. So a real mess going into Illinois and even coming out if you're on 5570. It's tough. Westbound McKinley Bridge is bumper to bumper through the area as well. If you're on westbound 64, Kings Highway out to McCausland, it bunches up. Slow Clayton Warson to Ballas. K midway to Winghaven. 364 out to a crash on the shoulder near Prospect. Westbound 70, some slow stuff from 94 out through Zembel. Delays both ways around Zembel, and then it's busy right around Highway K. South 270 Page all the way down through Clayton Road's heavy, but after that it opens up. Southbound 55 Arsenal to Bates, usual backup there. There's some slow stuff south of Butler Hill, approaching Merrimack Bottom, and a little busy right around McNutt. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
The St. Louis Symphony Orchestra presents Brahms' Violin Concerto, Friendship and Solace, a journey through life, joy, loss, and rebirth. Conductor John Storgards and the SLSO explore the deep humanity of Brahms' Violin Concerto, performed by violinist Francesca Dago, and the epic journey of Sibelius's Lemminkäinen Suite, April 11th, 12th, and 13th at UMSL's Two Hill Performing Arts Center. Tickets at slso.org.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Have you been injured in an accident? You need a personal injury law firm that wins. Onder wins. For over 100 years, we've been fighting and winning for St. Louis. $5 billion in negotiated settlements? We've got it. $300 million in verdicts? Done. Voted best law firm by STL Today 2 years in a row. Onder wins all the time. Car accident, trucking accident, workplace injury. No matter the case, let Onder win for you. When the stakes are high, we're the team you can trust. Wondering what your case is worth? Call now for a free consultation. And remember, we don't get paid unless you win. Dial 314 or 618-9-million. That's 9 then all zeros. Or visit onderwins.com today. Onder Law. Winning is what we do.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
The easiest way to park on game day is with iParkit. iParkit has the best game day parking lots in St. Louis. iParkit has 2 convenient garages on Clark Avenue, located right next door on either side of the ballpark. The iParkit game day garages have multiple entries and exits to accommodate all fans, no matter where you're coming from or where you're headed after the game. Download the iParkit app and drive in and out using only your license plate. For your next game day experience, use iParkit Garage for convenience and peace of mind.
This is Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial, retiresafestl.com. Retirement security means a peace of mind, knowing you have the freedom to live the life of your dreams and to wake up each day without financial stress. Let us simplify your retirement today. Retiresafestl.com.
Dave Murray's weather is brought to you by Sachs Financial.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 1041 FM KMOX. It's dark in here. All the lights are out in the entire Odyssey building other than our studio, so we can keep working. Pretty out there. Really gorgeous day. Dave, that's not going to last much longer, right?
No, but how are all the lights out except for your studio?
You got me.
We're on the
Is there a
backup.
That is the
generator?
great
There's a
question.
generator.
Maybe.
Yeah,
'Cause the
Michael-
computers are working too. Just the overhead lights are out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Calhoun posted a video, or he posted a video, but he also posted a photo on Twitter of the backup batteries that are keeping KMOX on the air right
There
now.
you
If you'd
go.
like to go
Cool.
check it out.
Very cool.
We got to keep you guys on the air, no matter what.
Yes.
It is imperative.
Yes. No one wants us going home early.
No. All right, we have a couple of interesting weather events coming up. So I want to break both of them down. There's nothing much going on tonight other than clouds taking over, and it's windy. It's been windy most of the day, a little bit cool. We'll stay in the 50s tonight. Now, tomorrow, interesting day because we have a cold front on the way. Changeable sky with a mix of clouds and sunshine, gusty winds throughout the day with scattered showers and thunderstorms developing in the afternoon on Wednesday, looking for a high of 78. So a lot warmer. Now, the key points for Wednesday afternoon. The hardcore action, and I'm talking about big-time severe weather, will be across southeast Missouri and southern Illinois, not here in St. Louis. So let's think of a line from Farmington, Chester, Pinckneyville to Lake Carlisle, south and east of that line. That's going to be the hardcore severe weather. We will, though, see some showers and thunderstorms around prime time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., but I'm not expecting a lot of severe weather. A couple of them could go strong, no question about that. But the hardcore stuff off to our south and to our east. Could it affect the ball game? Certainly. It's a possibility. But I don't think it gets rained out. The second event starts on Thursday, and most likely Thursday afternoon. What's going to happen is this cool front coming through tomorrow evening, gets stuck off to our south and to our east, and then it waves around. Really unusual for April to get something stuck. And we're going to go into periods of rain Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and into Sunday morning. So it's a long-lasting event. But once again, it looks like the real heavy stuff is going to be southeast Missouri and southern Illinois. Here in St. Louis, we could see during that whole time, Thursday through Sunday morning, we could see 2 to 4 inches of rain. A lot of rain. That's a concern for certainly the small streams and creeks. However, southeast Missouri, southern Illinois could see 5 to 8 plus inches of rain, and there will be widespread flooding down there off to our southeast and to our east. And then everything should break Sunday afternoon. So it's a very unusual weather pattern, quite active.
Yeah. So the real bad stuff's going to be down south.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think in both events, that's the way to look at it. Southeast Missouri, Southern Illinois, and points, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, places like that, the Ohio Valley.
So, Dave, you're not just my weatherman, you're my botanist and my landscaper. Would this be a good
I thought
week?
it was more than that.
And
Look,
friend.
We had our time. We've talked about this. Would this be a good time to throw some grass seed down or too much water?
You know what? I'm going to have you hold off because I think we could have too much water and a lot of it get washed away.
Okay.
Let's not waste that money.
That's why I ask it. It's good. Good advice. Headlines, Rach.
Brought to you by Schnucks. Reward yourself daily with the Schnucks Rewards app. All right. There was a lost Loch Ness Monster camera from 1970 that has been accidentally found by Bodie McBoatface. So let's back up.
Am I asleep right now?
No, you're not. This is real life.
I remember this.
An underwater camera from 1970 that was submerged to capture evidence of the Loch Ness Monster has been discovered by the United Kingdom's National Oceanography Center's autonomous underwater vehicle, Bodie McBoatface. You remember when they named Bodie McBoatface?
I do.
The camera was part of the Loch Ness Investigation Bureau's attempt to use underwater photography in their search for Nessie. The camera trap was triggered by a bait line and took around 24 film exposures, but no evidence of Nessie was found in the pictures. But I still think that's pretty cool. This was kind of lost for years and years.
Really cool.
Since 1970, Bodie McBoatface found it, and there was no Nessie evidence, but still kind of a neat story.
Really cool.
They already went through 55 years worth of footage. Come on now.
I'm trying to figure this out. Like, cause I've always been interested in all the cryptids and things along those lines. Are there not like water penetrating radar setups or sonar where you can like see if something's in there?
Sure.
Like, could you not just fly over the whole damn lake?
I
It's not that big.
Well, I do. It is
Nessie
actually
is stealth.
It
Nessie
is actually
stealth.
the problem, as I've always understood it as a Nessie enthusiast, is that Loch Ness is actually extremely large and
Very
extremely
deep.
vast, and very, very deep. So it may not be as easy as just like flying over it and blasting.
Okay, but
sonar
it's not an ocean. We've gone and looked at a lot
It
of
is not an
big areas in an ocean to find shipwrecks and things like that. Right? And they're deep too.
But as Dave Murray points out, Nessie is stealth. Nessie does not want to be found
How does Nessie know if there's stuff in the sky scanning the water?
because she's smart.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I didn't know. I didn't know they had like
Now you know.
now I know they have like sonar reflective skin. You're not bouncing those sound waves off me,
Smart
boys.
plesiosaur.
I know Dave wants to find Bigfoot really badly.
Found.
What's
Saw.
that?
I found him.
Well, I know, but like you would like evidence of Bigfoot. I don't even know if I want evidence of Nessie.
I do.
I want them to leave Nessie alone.
Let's be real.
I want them hurting
if Nessie
Nessie.
surfaced and we got her, we're gonna cut her up.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
No, they're not. Not until she's dead.
She'll be dead
And
first.
how long do we think these things live?
Oh, there's more than one.
There'd have to be.
What do they
It's gotta
eat?
be a community.
What do they eat?
Yeah.
Fish, dingus.
How much fish does a thing that size have to eat?
There's a lot of fish. It's a big lake, dude. I don't know why you have it in your head that it's like that it's like a pond at a park. It's like an enormous, massive. It's like a sea almost.
I think it's the
huge.
most fresh water in Great Britain.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the UK.
big lake, dog.
Okay, it's the size
No.
basically of Lake Michigan.
That's a
It's
big
huge.
lake.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
small. I'm saying it's like 1
You might even
millionth.
call it great.
It's like 1/1,000,000th of an ocean.
We don't find stuff in the ocean either. It took like 2 weeks of constant searching a very concentrated area in the ocean
Look,
just
man,
to find the
if you put
Titan submersible.
If you put a camera in the ocean, you're going to see all kinds of things.
Well, this was a camera from 1970 that only took 24 film exposures.
Yeah, and look, I hope it exists. It'd be great. I've seen wildlife experts and people that understood like dinosaur biology and the amount that you have to have a certain number to carry any kind of population forward. You can't just survive with 2 and then have a baby, and now all of a sudden you're going to have a population that lasts for hundreds of years.
Well, you're the expert.
I'm quoting them. You can Google it, bro.
And he broed him.
And then on top of that, you got to have enough food to support the entire colony. And all we get are tiny little glimpses.
Now you sound like a skeptic.
Everybody's been watching this lake for how many years now?
I love how mad Wheels is and then how mad Andrew is getting as he argues with him.
Man.
All right, moving on. Tourism to the U.S. is set to see declines. According to a World Travel and Tourism Council, tourism in America is $1 trillion industry, contributing about $2.36 trillion to the country's GDP in 2023. Also has a major impact on our jobs report, making up around 11%. But experts are saying now that because of, I guess the tariff stuff, kind of sowing bad will, we could lose anywhere between 60 to 120 billion US dollars in 2025 in the tourism industry.
Yeah. I've said it before. Trump could be completely right about this stuff. I don't think he is, but he could be. But it is definitely ruining our relationship with the world. Maybe he brings it back. Maybe we're good guys again. But right now, I don't feel like we're good guys for the first time.
The White House is going to cut down a tree thought to be planted by Andrew Jackson. It's a southern magnolia, and it was believed to have been planted by Jackson in honor of his late wife. It's a prominent feature near the White House entrance. President Trump stated that the tree poses a safety hazard and will be replaced with another one, and the wood from the old tree may be repurposed for something else in the White House. They pruned this tree in 2017, and it was damaged in a 1994 plane crash on the White House grounds.
Weird.
Yeah. Sad to see any tree cut down, but
yeah,
this is like
I hope they've done everything
one.
they can. That kind of sucks.
I'm sure they have, because isn't Trump like a huge fan of Andrew
Yes.
Jackson? Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think he'd be cutting down his tree just for no reason.
Yeah.
Let's do one more story here for headlines. The Yum Brand CEO David Gibbs is going to retire in 2026. Yum Brands is KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut.
Andrew, there you go.
Under Gibbs's leadership, Yum
I know.
Brands expanded its store count and saw a surge in annual sales, with shares rising above about 56% during his tenure. So he's stepping down next year.
I love it. Dave says, "Ooh, we already got a bro, and it's only 3:45."
Only.
And Robert says, "Fish, dingus."
That's a good line, Andrew. That was a really good line.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
All righty.
Tell you guys about the Gelman team. And, I've been doing lives for the Gelmans for 15, 18 years, something like that now. Done 3 different real estate transactions with them. Done a lot of charity stuff with them. Know them very, very well. And it's my job to get you guys to go to thegelmanteam.com, or better yet, to call 314-336-1991. Even better than all of those is to do a contract to sell or buy a house or both, and use them as real estate agents. As straightforward and look you in the eye and honest as I can be, I know a lot of realtors that don't work for the Gelman team, and some of them are some of my favorite people, and I really like them. But when it comes to resources, like, for example, Brian Kilmeade, my buddy over on Fox News, I think I'm as good as Kilmeade. I don't have nearly the resources. I don't have the Fox News planet behind me. Dave Glover on KMOX and Brian Kilmeade on Fox News are 2 very different things. He's way above me. The Gelmans are way above all the other real estate agents in town because, like the Fox News thing, they have so many resources. They have so much information, and that's really what gets your house sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassle on your part. If you want to find out what we think your home is worth right now, which you may disagree with, you will have a talk about it. Go to the front page of thegelmanteam.com when you're ready to talk. 314-336-1991.
Certain restrictions apply.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com traffic center.
Well, it looks like we got trouble in North County. A crash in the left lane, eastbound 270, right near New Florissant, and traffic's backing up through the Interbelt right now on eastbound 270. Westbound 70, a little slow at the city limits. There's some slow stuff again from 5th Street out to about Cave Springs. Westbound 64, busy from Boyle out to McCausland. Clayton Worth and Dallas is heavy. Approaching 94, midway out to Winghaven, slow, and then 364 to 70 have volume again. South 270 bogs down south of Dorset to Manchester. After that, just a little busy both sides of 44. Southbound 55, Arsenal to Bates is heavy. There's a slowdown south of Butler Hill to Merrimack Bottom, and Z down through the McNutt area. Downtown, we still have this road work going on both directions on 5570 east to 64. Westbound 5570 is jammed midway between 111 and 203. Eastbound 64 is jammed back across the bridge. 44 and 64 eastbound, both bumper to bumper at Jefferson. Eastbound 70 is bogged down on the Musel Veterans Bridge over to the 64 merge point as well. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Make reservations for the 2025 Women of Achievement Luncheon, presented by Kingham OX. This award luncheon takes place Tuesday, May 13th at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis, and celebrates 10 outstanding volunteers from across the St. Louis metropolitan region. Doors open at 11:15. The luncheon runs until 1:30. Reservations are $60 per person. Sign up and find more details now at kinghamox.com/events.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we provide no-cost digital resources in place of textbooks and most courses. And that's not all. You'll receive your accredited online education at an affordable tuition with a choice for more than 135 degree and certificate programs. With online and hybrid courses, get everything you need to succeed again. Learn more at umgc.edu, certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code RADIO. swishradio.com, code RADIO.
Hey guys, Glover here for Underdog Fantasy. Would you like to win up to 1,000 times your money? Well, you can with Underdog. To play, choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. Let's take baseball since we just had opening day. Strikeouts, home runs, hits, and more. You can play for as little as $1. And if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn $1 into $1,000 just with your baseball knowledge. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Their app has over 100,000 five-star reviews and millions of players. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code GLOVER to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus credits when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code GLOVER. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus credits instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 years old or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. .350 DGS on the other side of the top of the hour break. We have the Think Tank. We do it every Tuesday at 4. Alderman Joe Vollmer and the head of elections in St. Charles County, Kurt Barr, are going to be here. Lots to talk about. Wheels, can you kind of lay out the whole Ole Miss ESPN thing going on?
Yeah, so for those that haven't seen it, there's a story in The Athletic by Katie Strang, who is obviously a great reporter. There's going to be, I don't think it's in action yet, but there's going to be a lawsuit against Pat McAfee and ESPN and a few other outlets, including maybe some folks in town.
Yeah.
Based on false rumors that the girlfriend of Ole Miss's quarterback, so the quarterback's name is Jackson Dart. He's not really named in the story, but everybody knows who we're talking about. And Pat McAfee linked the name with it because he was doing this leading into a draft segment. But Pat McAfee went on ESPN and spread a rumor from Ole Miss that Jackson Dart's girlfriend had slept with his dad. Like, that was the rumor. So this freshman in college, 18, 19-year-old girl, has lived with this rumor mill being amplified by the worldwide leader and by Pat McAfee with one of the most popular shows out there in the sports space. And other people ran with this, again, rumor. This started on an app called Yik Yak. It didn't start with a newspaper investigation. It didn't start with an eyewitness report. It started just on some stupid app, and then it started to get some legs on social media. And all of a sudden now these big personalities are reporting it, and this girl's life is ruined. I mean, she can't leave her dorm room. She had to take her name off the outside of her dorm room. She walks through campus, and guys catcall her and call her all kinds of different things because people believe that, because when you see it on ESPN, when you're seeing it all over the place, people believed this rumor. But there was never anything backing it up. There was no police report, investigation, court case, nothing. It was a rumor that was spread.
Gossip
that was spread. Who knows for what reason? And they are, by the way, her lawyers are trying to figure out who started it. They're going to be using forensic internet experts to see if they can figure out where it started and who was the person that put it out there. So now all of these outlets are facing probably a pretty significant lawsuit here because they've ruined this teenage girl's life. For what? This is what I don't understand. This is where people that are in, as a sports guy, this is where I don't understand what people in sports are doing. If you're doing a sports show, why are you tweeting about some girl and what she may or may not have done
sexually
in the bedroom? What does that have to do with anything to do with your job? But again, it gets attention. It gets likes. And I think Barstool's another one named in this because a couple of their people were amplifying it on social media. And like, we're in a position now where some of these really powerful people, and I mean powerful in terms of influence, can just take a complete rumor that's made up and run with it. And now this teenage girl's life is ruined. This is what she's going to, and I was mentioning this before, like if this happened, you know, and none of these outlets picked it up, right? It may have been a rumor on campus. It may have been a rumor amongst the people that heard about it at Ole Miss, and she could leave and go to another school, and those other people would never know about it, and she would be herself again. This is now nationwide. She can't go to any college. She's still that same girl. Her name is attached to this. And I can't get past how we've gotten to the point where big networks like ESPN are okay with this kind of content being put out there. And if they're not okay with it, why aren't you limiting the people that want to put it out there?
Rachel?
I'm just struggling to understand what Pat McAfee or any of these people even get out of repeating the rumor.
Engagement, right? People freak out, so they're going to tweet it and they're going to see it, and because it's got that kind of appeal. And he did it under the guise of talking about the NFL draft to see if this kind of thing would impact the player's stock, which is such a joke.
So you're ruining a teenage girl's life
for clicks.
For clicks.
Yeah.
How many of you think taxes are going to go up in the future? And if they do, who will be hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, April 8th or Thursday, April 10th at Stone Summit. They believe you can't have a retirement plan without a tax plan. So fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. As a local small business owner for the past 24 years, I always do my best to shop local and support our community. Recently, 2 of the largest tree contractors in the region have sold to out-of-town investment groups. This means that the new owners of these companies are not invested in quality, customer satisfaction, or safety, except for how it affects their bottom line. Timberline Professional Tree Care was founded in 2001 and is focused solely on giving you, the customer, the safest, highest quality product while providing the best customer service before, during, and after the job. I've poured my heart and soul into tree care for the past 24 years, and we aren't going anywhere. When it comes time to take care of your trees, I ask that you shop local and call me, Ben Barnett, at Timberline Professional Tree Care, 636-479-7475, or online at stltreecare.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Don't get loaded.